niggas sell they soul for $1,200. Oh yeah. I seen bitches getting naked for 1,200 followers. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna make $1 billion every 1,200 hours and fill my bank account with 1,200 commas. Thank God I'm still alive. I look my karma in her eyes, cause I used to blame her for all my lies. But when I didn't look scared, she wasn't surprised. Shit, she said to me, yeah, keep me together. I seen people cross their own for $1,200. Oh yeah. Yeah, I seen bitches change teams for 12-something bottles. Oh yeah. Yeah, this the startup of the journey, though it feels like an admission. I tell it to your eyes, though you're too blind to listen. Thank God I'm still alive. Yeah, one more time. Thank God we still alive. Dark times, it's hurting, but still inside. But real niggas survive, always. Dance with the devil and bounce back. Pandemic, just a gimmick. Talk to me, I talk black. Niggas stuck in their position cause they choose to fight facts. Homies say bitches ain't shit, yet they still fuck rats. You don't give a fuck, why should I give a fuck back? But
what? Oh, ladies and gentlemen,
how you doing? How you doing, my guy?
Brother, I'm here. I've made it. Trials, tribulations,
and accounted for.
We are present and accounted for. Got a lot to talk about today, man. You know what it is. We starting off with the pregame. We ain't even got no intro. If you here watching, you already know what it is. Welcome to the pregame. Tuesday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw on a Tuesday.
The late night. Groove with Reggie and Norwood. Welcome to the pregame.
Quiet Storm. Y'all remember that on V103? On V103 Team Media. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the late night. You see the ambiance. I got the light on, but he got the look like a lit up candle jar back there. Got the red and blue going on over there. I see you.
I mean, you got to have, we got to support the people who support us. And the only people who support us right now are the Atlanta Braves. Everybody else hates us and hates themselves. But that's fine. We ain't even talking about y'all today. This ain't got nothing to do with you. There are so many other things that me and Reggie are interested in talking about that don't involve those other two fools. But blessed, highly favored, happy to be here, man. And I hate to say we're going to start on a relatively somber note. This is something that I think has been a major part of you and I.
Life.
Life, yeah.
Life. I mean, think about it. So what we're talking about, we're going to go ahead and get started. When y'all trickle in. We appreciate the few that are already here. Tiger Woods and Nike have decided to part ways. I like shoes. I have a collection of shoes. I download and save pictures of shoes that eventually that I'm going to get. I buy probably like one or two a year, and I just keep adding. But I don't keep my ear to the streets when it comes to shoes and Nike and their partnerships. But I didn't see this one coming, and I didn't see any inkling or any news that this was going to happen. This seems like it came out of nowhere for me. Did I miss something?
Yes and no. You got to really be like I'm a sports marketing, sport management guy. So I've kind of known about this for probably about 5 or 6 months. We knew the date was coming. There were different things that kind of let us know that Nike and Tiger were going to part, but due to the Phil Knight Tiger Woods relationship, I wasn't ever sure. Like Phil and Tiger are like legitimately like this. Phil is one of the guys who goes to Tiger's tournament, whatever. He sat with, Tiger's mom at many a tournament, but over time,
he was alive.
Yeah. This relationship And I'm only talking about the business relationship because I'm 100% sure that Phil Knight and Tiger Woods don't have any issue. But the business relationship has kind of gone in a different direction. I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I'm not going to bury the lead here. Tiger is going to TaylorMade. Once he changed his clubs, they went over to TaylorMade. And then from there, it was only a matter of time before he took everything over there. There's been a job posting about it, brand management, managing this new brand. So it's been on the way. It's been on the horizon. Overall, I think that to a certain degree, Nike is divesting out of golf. There have been a lot of smaller boutique sneakers that have really gotten into the running game. And if you've like looked at Nike over the last couple of years, for the most part, the Nike, like the running shoes haven't gotten that much better other than like you get the 270s, you'll get some things, but nothing.
They're definitely leaning into the classics.
Yeah, like classic colorways. So it's nothing really new. The sneaker, for the most part, they just haven't. Sorry. What is the confusion?
No, it's just y'all know I got a lot going on over here. I produce the show, so I have stats, I have soundboard, I have my phone, and in the group we have the Splashcast versus the World. I apologize for interrupting, but Eric Spoelstra just signed an 8-year, $120 million extension that we'll talk about in basketball. But I knew he signed an extension, but 8 years, 120. Go ahead, back to Tiger and TaylorMade.
Yeah. But overall, Nike Golf wasn't making enough money for him. And at that point, Tiger's going to go do his own thing. He's already, after the whole situation, it's just never been the same. And at the end of the day, Tiger's not playing every Sunday anymore. So
I think
at
that's
that point,
really what it was.
You really got to reallocate assets, specifically after, the live golf thing has kind of taken over. If you're going to invest, you need to invest with those guys who are going to be seen a lot more. And it just wasn't, Nike is sunk in basketball and running. They were born out of running, and basketball has always been their thing. So at this point, when people are kind of like, inflation is high, people not spending as much money, you got to reinvest in the things that make you money right now. So it was very classy of both parts. Tiger put out a little blurb and basically said, hey, man, it's been a fantastic 27, 28 years. I love everything, all the experiences with Nike. And then, Nike doesn't really often put out a closeout graphic for you. There was none of this with Kyrie. It was like, deuces, we'll see you when we see you. But in this case, class personified by both parts. And yeah, it's just crazy that we won't see Tiger in Nike red on Sundays. I'm sure it'll still be red. That's his thing, but it won't be the same.
So you said a lot there. You said a mouthful. There's he's been with them for 27 years. I mean, he's 45 if I'm not mistaken. He's been with them since he was 18 years old or somewhere in there, since he turned pro.
Yeah.
Nike stood by him, and I don't ever really cape for organizations and corporations. But Nike stood by him through all of that stuff. All of the stuff, right. The personal things that went on, good and bad. And I'm not just speaking about, with the women. I'm talking about when he went through it with his family, when his father passed, the redemption story. They never, ever left his side. Now, you can look at it two ways. You could say, yeah, because he was bringing them billions of dollars. Well, yes, but we've seen major corporations cut bait immediately.
I think that stands to the relationship between him and Phil Knight. They're friends. I would damn near say family, just the way that you've seen Phil and Tiger's mom, interact. Nobody else is getting that close to Tiger's mom. You're not able to have a conversation. You're not able to sit with her at tournaments. That's off limits. And I think that's always been a contributing factor on, them looking out for each other. And even like the way that they parted was just doesn't happen.
So him going to TaylorMade, what I think this is, and let me get my points out. What I think this is everybody's career transitions. Tiger's career has transitioned to the senior PGA level almost. He's one of the younger he's not a senior yet, but he's in that gray area. He's no longer the dominant no shot really relevant golf player in terms of competition anymore. So because of the injuries, because his back has pretty much just been destroyed. Plus the ankle and the knee and everything. He's starting to transition out of the main. He's already transitioned out of the mainstay of golf. So when you transition out of the mainstay of golf, from a business standpoint, you can only go so far. And at some point, it has to be a mutual understanding, which this is, that the investment is not giving me the return. So
now the tricky part. Well, go ahead. There's another small caveat at the end here.
So with that, I think that going to TaylorMade will allow him to transition to the senior PGA as well as become the sponsor of his business ventures. And I got a third point, but go ahead. What were you about to say?
Well, there's an interesting point about this is Charlie. And Charlie is slowly, ramping up to be a professional. And it'll be very interesting because I appreciate everything that TaylorMade does for golf. But if Charlie is a good golfer,
right back. They circling right back.
that also is the reason I think that there's this parting is very respectful, because they know that he has an asset in his back pocket. And you want to be there. If y'all have to part ways for a little bit and come back, you want that relationship to come back. What we want to see. We want to see Charlie and Tiger in red on Sundays.
Well, we want to see that. But that contradicts your point though. Nike has some soul searching to do, because, and I don't want to bury the lead. I don't want to jump and the ADHD jump and go to different sports and whatever. But Devin Booker just released his shoe, and them shoes on Nike look absolutely awful to me. When you made a point of Nike's newest shoes do not, to me, in my opinion, and a lot of people I know are like-minded people that I hang around. So, a lot of them aren't impressed with the newest shoes that Nike comes out with. And at some point, if you're not getting a return on the investment, the product isn't what it used to be, sometimes you got to move on. And sometimes you gotta, yes, Charlie is an ace in the hole. He is. But Nike has some soul searching. Y'all got to figure out how to come out with a good looking shoe, because there's other brands, like you said, smaller brands and larger brands that are going to come for Charlie now. And y'all don't think y'all gonna forget about Live Golf now. They have enough money to start their own brand yesterday if they wanted to. And you've already seen golfers for the whole tour.
Everybody.
You've already seen golfers who were
and their family
against the Live Golf movement and saying this, that, and the third. Well,
they starting
to backtrack. They starting to backtrack.
Moonwalking.
Saying, hey, I wish, when you miss out on a $500 million or $1 billion, and you see somebody else who may not be as good as you making that much money, paying off all their debts and still living good, at some point, Nike is going to have to take a look in the mirror when it comes to this design of their shoes. So this, I think, is a wonderful thing for Tiger. I think he definitely has some stuff in the fold. And I think it's a reality check for Nike, because there's really nobody else. Now, I follow more black-owned golf brands. So there's really no other golfer that I've seen, except for maybe like what's his name? Rory.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Now, Rory backpedaled out of his position like Dion in coverage. But you're right. I mean, Jason Tatum has, I think, a pretty decent sneaker. Luka has a pretty decent sneaker. Zion has a tricky like player edition. Sabrina Ionescu, I don't know if I said that right. Who
You did.
she has the best sneaker out of everybody. And no offense to the women, but typically the women don't get the best sneaker. Shout out to Jason Sudeikis, SNL guy, comedian, all of that. He's done a lot of support for her. But her sneakers fire. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is the good one. And
you think that's going to be the next move? I mean, that obviously the women's sports movement is it. So you think that they're going to focus more? Because Ionescu, they wearing them in the men's game. They wearing her shoes in the men's game. You think that's where they're going to refocus?
Duke is wearing her sneaker. Now, you got to remember, everybody's going to work now. Everybody's going to work. And, like, one thing I do, like, I hate the Devin Booker sneakers. At the end of the day, they're terrible. They're awful. Awful, terrible, the worst. But that's him. He wants a lot of creative input. If you look at his style and the way that he dresses, it's Devin Booker. Now, whatever that is what it is. I'm not here for the fashion rundown. But for me, I don't like the sneaker. It's very plain, generic almost. But that's where it gets tricky. Do you, as a person who doesn't design sneakers, do you want more creative input? Or maybe you back up off of it and let Nike do what Nike's really good at and design, like Sabrina sneakers, fire, undeniable. And it don't look like a women's sneaker. It looks like, hey, this is a sneaker. If you play basketball, put this on, lace them up. So
that's the soul searching that Nike has to do. We are going to give Tiger a round of applause, man, because to stay in the game that long, and pull off what he did and be one of the greatest golfers of all time, and then to start your offspring who looks like he's going to be better than you just because he has more resources. Congrats, man. Congrats. Let's move on to, y'all know when it comes to the pregame, we always get our baseball takes out of the way. We talk about the Braves during the ATL edition, which is out, by the way, came out today. Y'all go back and listen, like, follow, subscribe. But in the rest of the league, man, the Dodgers are going for it right now. They are pulling what you call a Los Angeles Rams move. They are deferring pretty much all of the cap space for all of the money for the last 3 players that they've signed, which was Hernandez, Teoscar, Hernandez, who signs a deal 20 out of the $23.5 million deal he signed. $8.5 million will be deferred to be paid out from 2030 to 2039. Also, Shohei Ohtani is basically deferring his 90% of his contract or something like that to 2030. And then they're also their pitcher that they signed from Japan, Mr. Yamamoto, I'm not going to try the first name, is deferring part of his contract. So the Dodgers are, this is smart if it works, taking advantage of the deferred payment rule and are banking on inflation. They're banking on salaries will continue to go up. Money for baseball will continue to come in. And deferring that payment so that they can sign more stars now and go get it. Go get the championship.
Well, it's tricky because the money is not this deferred money. So they don't pay interest, which is really good for the organization. Basically, like we said in the past, you just get to bank the money. So you put the money in an escrow account and you get to gain the interest. So all of the money that money makes, you get to make it. So
which
when you have to
can
pay
then
them,
use it to pay them or sign other players to contracts that are current.
Which is really good. I like the theory of it, but I'm also going to be very honest. You start getting cute. Hey, you better play baseball, dog. That's one thing I'm gonna tell you. Y'all do all the rest of this mystical, magical, whatever it is. You still gotta play baseball. And I'm gonna tell you, if you don't defer that money, you are petty for that shit. And Reggie said, if you get to playing, and it don't work out, they're gonna look at you crazy. So
yeah, shout out to Sneaky.
I ain't even wish you the best of luck.
Shout out
to now. Let's keep it real.
Shout out to Sneaky. He's right, man. I actually had the chat hidden by accident. My bad. Sneaky says Show Day has now replaced Bobby Bonilla Day and will be hilarious for years to come. If it doesn't work out, remember Bobby Bonilla Day. All of that's funny because the Mets are terrible. But if this works out, they're good, man. And let me tell you something. What I really wanted to talk about with Mr. Yamamoto was he has a clause in his contract that he may not be assigned to the minor leagues without consent, which means I'm not going because I'm not going to consent to go to the minor leagues, which means you have to sign, you have to pitch with him, and all this money guaranteed. This is in the bank. So you have to play him. And, oh, man, people are hating. In the comments, people are already wishing. Now, of course, you know, the demographic and the reason why starts with R and ends with ism.
Demographic.
Starts with R and ends with ism are saying he's a baby. They can't wait for the Tommy John surgery. First off, this is genius for me. If I have this is like the Russell Wilson contract. If I can put that in the contract and you gonna let me and y'all gonna sign it, then sign it. Whatever. Y'all can't. And the thing about the difference is you can't take this back. You can't say, hey, defer nothing. You have to pay me. Ain't no cutting. Nothing. So if I can do it, and I'm from Japan, I'm the number one pitcher in Japan, and you paying me all this money? No, you can't send me nowhere. Nope. Not at all.
Well, you won't be sending me to Grand Rapids. Are you crazy? You know who I am? You're going to send me to the minor league, send me home, dog. That's how I feel. Pick your poison. But we ain't going to be here all day, and we ain't finna play all day. You're going to do what you're going to do or don't do nothing at all. It don't matter to who. Me, big dog, because I'm rich. Now, we also have to acknowledge Los Angeles is doubling down, tripling down.
Tripling down, dog.
And is that going to be their game plan? Them like
so with the roster that they've built. And this is mean of me. I don't care, but
I'm trying to drive this car PC now.
I don't care. I'm a brave. I'm tired. Ain't no filter when I'm tired now.
I ain't got
He said Dodgers got a tie. With this, the Dodgers have to win multiple championships. You can't sign the best, almost maybe the greatest two-way player of all time.
Oh no! Let's look at that payroll. Let's look at that payroll.
Plus have Freddie Freeman, one of the, if not the best first baseman. Mookie Betts, plus you sign Yamamoto. You have other players that you signed. There's a couple more.
You still have Clayton Kershaw over there somewhere?
Yeah, they got Clayton over. They eventually Clayton got to go.
Wee boy, that money, run it up.
But you can't.
Betts,
you can't
30 million.
See,
Freddie Freeman, 27 million. Tyler Glasnow, 17 million. Teoscar Hernandez, 15 million. Chris Taylor, $13 million, and we ain't got none of the new additions on this joint yet. Oh, wee boy, run it up. Spend that money, yo. Spend that money. I want to see it. Because y'all think y'all can buy baseball. Baseball, you got to build a team. You just can't buy players, Yankees, Mets.
Yes, this is the Dodgers are the Yankees of the. Brooklyn. They the original Yankees. They the Brooklyn Dodgers. All they do is move to L.A. They do the same thing the Yankees do. So with that said, what I'm saying is, you can't have 10 years worth. You can't have $1 billion of deferred contracts and win one championship. You can't do it. You got to have more.
The agreement, however, pushes the team's offseason spending commitments to over $1.2 billion. When including free agent deals from Shohei and Mr. Yamamoto and Joe Kelly. Woo, boy. And a 5-year extension for Tyler. Woo, run that money up. Spend every dime you got, boy. Woo. I love it. Spend that money.
If it don't work out, y'all kind of stuck now. Y'all kind of stuck. So, speaking of stuck, sometimes money ain't everything.
It is tricky if you got it, and it might get tricky if you don't win. Ask who, dumbass.
Speaking of money, I threw this on there because I've never seen somebody take shots at their own boss and network, like Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee
Come on with it, man. We waiting on it.
Pat McAfee said there are some people actively trying to sabotage us, which is the Pat McAfee show from ESPN. I think we have a soundbite. Let's see if it plays. Here it goes.
We understand that more people are watching this show than ever before. We're very thankful for the ESPN folks being very hospitable. Now, there are some people actively trying to sabotage us from within ESPN. Funny. More specifically, I believe Norby Williamson is the guy
He put a name on it.
who is attempting to sabotage our program. I'm not 100% sure. That is just seemingly the only human that has information, and then somehow that information gets leaked and it's wrong, and then it sets a narrative of what our show is, and then are we just going to combat that from a rat every single time? I don't know. But like somebody tried to get ahead of our actual ratings release
From a what?
with wrong numbers.
Say that again.
He said did he say rat?
Yeah. I watched this live. He went in. Let's see.
12 hours beforehand. That's a sabotage attempt. And it's been happening basically this entire season from some people who didn't necessarily love the old edition of the Pat McAfee show to the ESPN family. Sure. There's a lot of that.
Now, this is a little tricky because ESPN is not totally ESPN right now. The ESPN and Disney are kind of embattled in a little fight. So you got people on both sides. But like I was talking to a person yesterday, this is going to be the end of BYOA, bring your own audience. They're not going to let ESPN is never going to relinquish this much control like they did with Pat McAfee. You have had last week where you had Aaron Rodgers say that Jimmy Kimmel was on Epstein Island. That was not received well. That's very, very, very smoky, and that is one of the things you just cannot say nor do. And then you come back today with all this autonomy and you start shooting at people who work at ESPN. That's all that ain't it, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, ESPN is notorious for liking to have control. And this is the reason that I've always said that.
Appreciate the like, DJ. Y'all appreciate the like.
What up? ESPN has always kind of run through two demographics very quickly. They're women. They're only there for typically 2 or 3 years. And then they're African-American people. They are typically there for about 2 or 3 years. As they get confident and they grow as an audience and they feel like they can really kind of express themselves. I'll give you the example of Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. Soon as they start speaking on things that really matter to them,
got them right up.
You got to find a new place to be. And I think that they went with Pat McAfee because they haven't invested in their audience in a long time. And Pat McAfee already came with an audience. But when you do a strategic partnership like they did, that guy knows he comes with an audience. My audience is going to be here. I brought my audience to you.
That's an interesting take. Because while I do think that the bring your own audience is a trend that might not keep going, they still have to shell out a lot of money for Stephen A. Smith. Whatever they decide to do, if either they're going to shell out a lot of money or they are not going to send him, they are going to let him walk, which I think is something that he wants to do anyway. And he'll end up going, and he wants to be like a late night show, get to CNN, get to more political talk, which is why you could tell he's setting people up to be part of First Take and take it and run.
I think there's a strategic partnership there. I think that, and I was talking to somebody about this, and last night I had a very long discussion about the landscape of media going forward and podcasting as a whole. I think that I don't want to call Shannon Sharp like necessarily a plant, but I think that
That's a
there
strong
is
word in the media world.
there is a concerted effort to put him to I think to ease him into the Stephen A. Smith spotlight. If you notice, if you look at the game, it's him and Stephen A. Smith and the championship ring photo. That's not by accident. That wasn't a that.
You think that's
wasn't a candid
ESPN though?
photo.
I think that's Stephen A. trying to usher him in so that Stephen A. can leave.
There's two parts. Stephen A. is trying, Stephen A. built this at the end of the day. He built this. It's his baby. I think he wants to leave it in number one, I think he wants to leave it in a black person's hands. And I feel like he's like, hey, I can leave this to Shannon. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to get you into a place where you're comfortable and you're killing it. And then I'm going to transition, which I think number one is beautiful. That's how it's supposed to be. I like it. HBCU to HBCU handoff. I love everything about this. And I think that he wants to be able to maintain the relationships. But I think, if you heard him probably about 6 months ago, he doesn't like that. Even as much as he's getting paid right now, it's not, he probably getting paid 50% of his true value. So
yeah, he's at a #1 debate sports show for like 12 years now.
He works too hard. He works basketball. He does the morning show. He's just not getting compensated for his time. And I think that once he saw what they did with Pat McAfee, what am I doing here? Y'all just gave him the money. He come and do his show for a couple hours and get to go home. I'm carrying this damn thing.
Nah, they starting to put him. He's more college football, but they starting to put him more and more on other shows. Too.
You gotta. We're paying you a lot of money, and we don't really have another person who garners that level of fame like that, and not necessarily fame, but Pat McAfee has the ability to really. As I'm not the biggest fan necessarily of the show itself mechanically, but he's one of the few. He's gonna get Aaron Rodgers on there. He had some type of partnership with Arthur Smith, where Arthur Smith was on there. He's one of the few people who gets Nick Saban regularly. He has that.
Well, it came out he was paying a lot of them people, but yeah. So
sure, yeah.
But the thing, well, he actually explained it. He said, well, once I got the bag, he was like, why would I not give him some money? But the thing that you Shannon Sharp is quietly as kept is really not quiet no more. He left FS1, and then he took a few months off, and then he initiated himself into ESPN quietly. It was very steadily. It wasn't like I'm just here. He's also building his own audience. I mean, the Cat Williams just went set $24 million views. Was it 7 million views in 8 hours? 25 million views in 24 hours. Yeah. So Shannon Sharp is getting paid by DraftKings. He's getting paid by what's the other one? The one that everybody does starts with a P. Prize Picks. He's got Prize Picks. So he's building his own entire show.
39 million views in 6 days.
So he's building his own show. He's building his own network. He's got Club Shay Shay. He's got Ocho Cinco. He's got Gil. He's in the comedian space now. He can't go anywhere else. I mean, he can go anywhere in the comedic space because of Cat Williams and bringing Said and all of them on there. This is forever linked with him. So he, from now on, even though y'all want to talk about his interview skills or whatever, is going to get better. He has his own following now. There's people that know about Cat Williams that don't even watch any sports.
No,
he is.
There's a couple of things here. Now, I had a super long conversation last night to the wee hours of the morning about this, like everything on the media landscape. Number one, I'm gonna tell y'all, since we're gonna talk about it, Cat Williams. This is a setup by Cat Williams. Yeah. Cat Williams gave y'all a 2.5 hour comedy special, and he hit it as an interview. But if you watch that interview, Cat Williams basically maneuvered and hit every joke how he wanted to strategically over the 2.5 hours. Now, I'm also going to speak because y'all have taken shots at Shannon. I'm going to tell you, me and Reggie are podcasters, and we've interviewed people. It is a process, and you do it, and you learn, and you get better, and you do it, and you learn, and you get better. That's a unique skill. So I know that y'all think that, maybe he's not perfect.
Hold up, before you, even you learn, but the most seasoned podcaster, interviewer, TV personality, analyst couldn't do nothing about that. Cat came on there and said, "How you doing? Cedric the Entertainer is a liar," and went on an 1.5-hour rant. You have to let them cook.
2.5
At some point, you got to let them. At some point, because Shannon tried to bring it back, but at some point, I'm not gonna stop 8 million views in 2 hours. This is Cat. Do what you got to do.
You knew it in the first 10 minutes. You said, "Oh, we got something here.
We here."
I mean, we put it in the chat. I said, "Oh, whoa, he wilding."
The producer said, "Hey, bro." The producer for Shannon said, "We got something. We gotta let it go." Like at that point, you gotta go. So what I'm saying is to bring this all the way back to the point of ESPN and Pat McAfee being sabotaged. Sometimes, when you try to bring your own audience, or you try to bring somebody with their own audience, that gives them they don't have any reason to abide by your rules and not say anything. I've already got I got your money, and I've got 250 million views or whatever he got, and I got YouTube money.
And you better be very careful. Like, I understand that Stephen A. Smith wants to transition this to Shannon Sharpe, and I think that Shannon Sharpe will take it. But also, first of all, 39 million views in 6 days puts you in a whole different stratosphere. It is going to be damn near impossible for you to
Kev trying to be our producer.
Anybody. Yes, it is going to be damn near impossible.
We see you, Kev.
For anybody to overtake this interview for the entire 2024 year. And I mean, let's be real. Gil and Ocho and Shannon is really, really good. So I know they might want to transition, but you better do your absolute best to appease him, keep him happy, and keep him fully invested. Because he could
leverage.
Very well.
That's the word I was looking for. All them got the leverage. Shannon he building the leverage. Stephen A. got the leverage. McAfee got the leverage. He got it.
Yeah, and that's I'll say this. He could be a journalist. I'll give you Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes, when you came in, definitely all the smoke. He was not a journalist. He was a guy, and they were having conversations. Him and not Stephen A. Smith. Steven Jackson. Now, if you look how polished Matt Barnes is with that show, he is a legitimate journalist. He's a good interviewer. He keeps everything together, and he doesn't do it in a way that takes away from what their thing was, where they sitting there smoking weed and kicking it. And that's a unique skill.
I think journalist is the wrong word. I had to look it up to make sure, because I make sure I was correct. Journalist is more journaling. That's writing. So there's you get a different type of training to become a journalist. I agree with Nessa saying that Shannon Sharpe is not there to be a journalist. He's an analyst. He's there to be an analyst, and he's there to be, if you expected him to be a seasoned analyst with a journalist background, then she's right. You need to temper your expectations. But you're right saying, hey, Shannon Sharpe gonna be Shannon Sharpe. They didn't hire him for his credentials that he had in school. They hired him for his personality and his social
Nobody
media
wants Peter Jennings from Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe's personality is the selling point.
Exactly.
There's a different group of people who do that. And that
that
is your earning. Yeah. But when it comes to this, you can still be yourself and be a great interviewer. And if you can match your personality with the fact that these people look more comfortable talking to you than talking to these other people who culturally probably don't mix the same, or like even Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, due to what that podcast has kind of built on, there are certain people who are probably not the most interested in being on that podcast. So Shannon gives you a different thing, but I'm going to tell you, Shannon, Ocho, and Gil, y'all better watch out. Y'all better watch out. And if Ocho and Gil ever really commit to like doing media instead of doing media and having fun, oh man.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's over.
Tough, man. But that was fun, man. So with that being said, we are done with the pregame, y'all. We're going to take 30 seconds. Y'all listen to the Splashcast soundtrack.
24, and we coming back with beers. Coming back with beer.
I was about to say I'm all out. Coming back, talk about our HBCU news around the culture. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Remember, do what Norwood.
Like, follow, subscribe, and tell somebody about this fantastic podcast and the excellent playlist. And somehow the Mavericks are losing to Memphis. Suns.
They getting smoked. We'll be right back.
Them things still knowing what they going for. I'm heavy in a couple cities, don't tell no informers. Chevy 16 inches, 10 switches. Drop top, old school, hold 10 bitches. Yeah, them things still knowing what they going for. I'm heavy in a couple cities, don't tell no informers. Chevy 16 inches, 10 switches. Drop top, old school, hold 10 bitches. Yeah, the game been hurt and I'm the medicine ahead of them. I aim then squirt at the rest of them. Motherfucker, I'm the boy on fire like corduroy. Rubbing together, I get money forever. I got 2 clips take together, that's 100 whatever. Loving the cheddar, call me mozzarella. It's no sweat, I can hustle in the hottest weather. I'm Weezy fucking baby, lots of terror. BS, a few shots to whoever. Yeah, them things still knowing what they going for. I'm heavy in a couple cities, don't tell no informers. Chevy 16 inches, 10 switches. Drop top, old school, hold 10 bitches. Yeah, them things still knowing what they going for. I'm heavy in a couple cities, don't tell no informers.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 135 of the Splashcast, the Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw on a Tuesday. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. I am your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host, Norwood, and our powers combined, we are your HBCU homeboys. Let's do it.
Let's do it, my friend. Let's get into it. Before we get started, remember the ATL edition is out. Came out today, Tuesday. It is out on Spotify, out on YouTube. Run it up. Make sure y'all hit a like. Make sure y'all hit a subscribe. Make sure y'all follow us on social media and X, Twitter, whatever y'all want to call it. We are everywhere. We appreciate it. When it comes to Monday Night Raw, then Around the League edition, we start out with our HBCU news around the culture, followed by either football or basketball, depending on which is in season. Right now it's football, but soon we'll be transitioning to basketball. Also, before we get started, update. We are going back to one show because the Falcons season is over. College football season is over. And the Braves season hasn't started. So we are now going to back to one show.
So what Reggie really telling y'all is we just going to throw the Hawks in there at the end. They losing, so what we going to do here now?
They talking about, yeah. We ranted a lot on the ATL edition. Y'all go back and listen. So let's start out with our HBCU news around the culture, man. So we got a couple things we're going to talk about today. A little bit of mess. Now, if we being honest, it's a little messy sometimes in the culture. But before we get that, we want to give a shout out to Mr. Terrell Allen. Wrong button. Mr. Terrell Allen, the Buck Buchanan Award winner for FCS Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to repeat. Not HBCU Defensive Player of the Year. FCS Defensive Player of the Year, man. Let's give him a round of applause. He led all of FCS. He had 28 tackles for loss, 14 and a half sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 65 tackles from the defensive end and defensive line position at Tennessee State. Eddie George down there had a gym and he produced on the field, and he is expected to go in the mid rounds of the NFL draft. If he has a good combine, he should be going in the top rounds of the NFL draft, 1 through 3.
Yeah, don't play with this man. 65 tackles, 28 TFLs, and 14 and a half sacks. He's a football player.
He's him.
Do not HBCU bias him. Give him a shot like everybody else. Put him on the field and see what he can do. And we're not doing that no more. We're not doing none of that no more.
Yeah, man, and he's a big dude. Apparently, he's like 6'4".
Let's see what we got on him. No, excuse me, 6 feet 275 from Little Rock, Arkansas.
That might be why he's supposed to drop, because of he's only 6 feet. Thank you.
Whoa, hold on. How tall is Aaron Donald?
6'1".
Oh, okay, same size.
Yeah, and right now, the way that football is evolving, you need guys that can move. So shout out to Terrell Allen, man. We expect big things from you. Can't have too many pass rushers. Can't have too many.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Falcons, they get to the end, he's still available. Do the needful.
Go ahead and get it. I really don't want to go into the mess, but let's start out with FAMU.
We can keep it brief.
We gonna tell the truth now.
Yeah, I mean,
FAMU. The news, of course, is Willie Simmons left FAMU, and he's going to Duke as the running backs coach. He did an interview with HBCU Sports. Shout out to him for sitting down and actually speaking on it in a well thought out and eloquent manner. If you have a chance to go and listen to that interview, he speaks very, very well. He does not down FAMU. He does not hate on FAMU. But he explains that where he wants to go in his coaching career, he's done everything that you can do up to this point. He's went to the FCS playoffs. He's won the Black National Championship. He's been the offensive coordinator. He calls the plays. He's been the CEO coach. He's been the quarterbacks coach. He's developed players. He sent players to the NFL. At this point, he said the next step for me is to go to Division I for my improvement, which is the right way to do it. So I wish it. Yeah, you know that was.
No, sneaky hell talking about Aaron Donald's 5'11" in real life.
Yeah, you tell him that. If Aaron Donald tell you he's 6'1", he's 6'1".
Hey, I saw him do that judo chop with that knife, and I said, "Hey, sir, whatever you need."
So shout out to Willie Simmons for taking the high road, because there's a little bit of mess that came out with the low road. It came out that FAMU's AD didn't want to give Willie Simmons a pay raise. So the underlying story is he's getting paid $200,000 more to be a running backs coach at Duke than he is going to be a head coach at FAMU. And it's also FAMU's alumni raised the money to keep him after it came out that because the AD ain't been there but that so long, said that he's
she was hired on January 4th last year. So
correct.
She just came upon 1 year of service.
And she said that he is not, basically that she doesn't think that he garners a raise.
Allegedly.
This is an article that we read. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Figure out how to do it.
This is very interesting because she is a very prominent person over there at FAMU. Anytime that you see anything with FAMU in their media, she's right there in the mix of it. When they won the championship, she sat down with the team and said, "Hey man, y'all committed to me. I committed to y'all. Here we are with a championship." Everybody looked happy. But yes, this rumor has been floating around for a long time that basically she told Willie Simmons under no, uncertain circumstances that, bro, we're not giving you the money. And I'm not against a tough negotiator. I'm not against, being conservative with the money, but you also have to understand having an elite coach will make or break a program. And by make or break a program, make or break your own damn job. So the way that you stepped out and said that, you better find the coach and y'all better keep winning, because y'all have a lot of things on your side right now. You have tons of notoriety, tons of visibility. Y'all have the LeBron sponsorship, but you know what your job is when it comes to HBCUs, to continue to drive and uplift the school and the athletic department. And if they fall off, the first person they're going to look at is you.
So, couple things.
Mm-hmm.
There's other rumors about the budget and the management of the funds before she got there that she is trying to rectify. So we won't shoot at her the whole time. But you missed one point that she's playing a dangerous game with. We are in unprecedented recruiting times. The transfer portal, I told y'all, that transfer portal is leveling the playing field across not just conferences of SEC, ACC, and FBS. It's leveling the playing field across divisions. FAMU had, the last time before this came out, they had 7 transfers from the Power 5 schools, including 3 from Florida State, which is right across the way. 3 from Florida State, 4 stars, 4 stars. It was said by Clark Atlanta's head coach, hey, Division 2 is the new Division 1. We are trying to be like the minor league system. Come to these schools, transfer here, get your name up, and then go transfer back to Division 1 or come here out of high school. And he got killed for it. If you notice, I didn't necessarily disagree with him, because when you get players, and Hampton was notorious for this, when you get players to come out of college, to come out of in high school, if you look at the way that scholarships are dispersed now, they are only signing 10 to 15 high school players a year. That's not, if you're not a Power 5 school. And one of the top echelons, if you're not top 10 in recruiting, they not, like Dion already said, I'm not signing but 7 to 10 high school players. So you have to go to D2. And we say 1AA because we're old, but FCS. You got to go to FCS and then go to FBS because that's the plan to go. And to bring it back to the AD, if you sabotage that is what will get you to lose your job. Everything else, bringing the money and balancing the budget, and yes, Willie Simmons is the coach, and like you said, you have to have a good coach, but you could also find another good coach because he's not taking the whole staff. But I'm not saying you can replace him easily, but it's possible. What you can't do is get the reputation that you're going to get a reputation amongst the transfer portal. Because if you do that, then you will end up not being able to get the players, and you'll be basically fighting with one arm. And you can't do that. Not at FAMU. They got too much of a storied history, past and present.
Yep.
So.
And they not finna play with you for very long.
One thing HBCU alumni does not have across, and I've never seen it at any school, is patience. Not patience. If the rival's good, don't let Bethune-Cookman mess around and beat y'all one year. Oh, they're going to get you up out of there quick. So look. Yeah, that's. So look, y'all better get it right. Shout out to the AD. Hopefully you have a plan. Shout out to Willie Simmons. Hopefully in the way that he did the interview, it seemed like it wasn't a lot of malice. So it seems like he might have left on cordial terms. Whereas we saw somebody else leave and just dog out the school. But
let's get right to
it. So now, more mess. We told y'all about Texas Southern and Fred McNair and Andre Johnson. Guess who else's name has been thrown into the fold? Allegedly. Hines Ward reportedly is eyeing another. Texas Southern is reportedly eyeing another NFL ex-player in Hines Ward with actual coaching experience. That's a shot at Andre to be his next head coach. I warned y'all. Jackson State had TC. They already had a contingency plan. Yep. Texas Southern, if y'all swing for the fences to get a coach or an ex-NFL player, that's not fully committed, and I'm not saying anything about Hines Ward isn't fully committed, but Hines Ward that I know of, has no connection to Texas Southern or any type of HBCU football that I know of. I may be wrong. Y'all look it up. You tell me if I'm wrong. But to come here, you know that this is a checkbox to get somewhere. In the same way that I said about the players, if you don't have a contingency plan when you go after an Ed Reed or you go after an Andre Johnson or you go after a Hines Ward, because if they're good, they're going to be out of there quick. Rightfully so. Then you may end up back at square one or -1. So y'all better figure it out down there, and y'all better do right by Fred McNair too, because he left a powerhouse. And y'all keep doing all of this mess, and all this news comes out, and there's been no news saying that, hey, Fred McNair has been bought out, his contract has already been bought out, or we're gonna pay for him, or whatever. Y'all better do right by that man, or he gonna hit you.
Number one, you have to remember who Fred is in the HBCU football landscape. He's a monster. He is a guy that everybody knows. He has connections, and you, to a certain degree, you also have to remember he's going to have the ability to be able to influence the next people who go there and your coaching staff. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an ability. It's very similar like how Joe Taylor is. Joe T, he is on that college football playoff decision making.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level. And y'all know how HBCUs are and HBCU people are about you taking advantage of them. They never, ever, ever, ever forget. I'm just going to say this, TSU. Y'all got like $50 million more, some big grant. Y'all better figure out this football situation soon and very soon. Y'all are every day that you don't, you're losing. You're not recruiting. You're not game planning. You're not doing anything to put this new coach in a position to win. And then you can go out here, and I have no issues with you going with Andre Johnson or with Hines Ward. But this is the thing. These guys are independently wealthy.
So yes, sneaky to answer your question, Fred McNair is related to Steve. He was the brother. Fred was the receiver. Steve was the quarterback at Alcorn. So he left his alma mater.
Yep.
And y'all did it.
But if Hines or Andre Johnson just not feeling it, they can just dip and go right back to living their life. They're not lifelong HBCU football coaches. This is their first time getting into it, and if they don't like it, they could get right out of it. And you better make a decision. But you study long, you for sure will study wrong.
And Alcorn, you ain't off the hook either. Now, there's a reason Fred left. That money. Now I don't know where he ends up now, because everybody, the way this plays out, and the time in which the timing of all of this is, everybody else has hired their coaches. There are no more coaching vacancies in SWAC football, and I think MEAC football, because they got Chennis Berry, who's out there already. He's got players coming from Miami.
And let me tell you,
to South Carolina
is
State
over there giving the 300 speeches. Every time I hear Chennis Berry speak, I be like, "Where my pads at, man? Let me lace them back up." And
you just got a quarterback that's supposed to be
you gotta continue, like, you're competing against that. That's your competition, and he is kicking ass, and y'all don't even have a leader yet. Let me tell you, you're behind. Whoever it gets hired for this job is behind the 8 ball.
Yep. And then finally on our HBCU news, man, shout out to HBCU Go. I think that's. It's not Byron Allen. It's the other guy that paid off all those student loans for Morehouse, the billionaire. He's affiliated with HBCU Go.
Is it Bob Johnson? Not Bob Johnson. I know you're talking about. I can see his face.
Robert Smith.
That's it.
Robert Smith is affiliated with HBCU Go. They have partnered with the SIAC. And they secure a $10 million 10-year multimedia partnership to go all the way through 2032, which includes football, men's and women's basketball, and here's the kicker, because I think we're in an Olympic year, right? In the Olympics this summer?
Mm-hmm. Coming up.
And Olympic sports. The platform also has secured distribution for SIAC sporting events on CBS owned and operated stations in key markets across the nation. And it is Byron Allen. I apologize. According to Byron Allen, the founder and CEO of the parent company, the partnership marks a historic moment, and the team is excited to bring SIAC games to broader audience. If you remember, the SIAC HBCU Go broadcasted the SIAC championship. They also broadcasted many of the games. I watched Clark Atlanta versus Morehouse. That's how we knew that Morehouse won the trophy against Clark. They are bringing notoriety to all of these SIAC schools, and as we just told y'all, Division II is really turning into the new Division I. And the more notoriety you can get on social media as well, because they're really good with social media, the more fun and the more influx of support you get. So I am happy for this. Shout out to them. I don't know if I did this, but applause. And it's dope, man. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
I love all of this. I also am I'm a firm believer in, having your own place to put your media so you can put your media in the front. I mean, it's the reason we have this podcast, because at the end of the day, we understand the value of it, and we understand how it needs to come off and who it needs to come from. And I think that having this strategic partnership and it being 10 years, so it's not something where, oh, well, fly by night. At the end of this, we're tired of you, or you no longer serve a purpose for us. We can just throw you to the wayside. This is the best thing for us. And now it's twofold from here. We as people who come from HBCU culture have to support this, but they also have to do a good job of marketing and putting together good media. It's of the utmost importance. This is, that's one of the big things we had the issue with Hampton leaving the MEAC is we gotta be out there in the right way. You have to do a good job, and we're gonna continue to kick the MEAC's ass about making sure that you post the scores, make sure that you're posting your players that are doing well, and consistently. You got to invest into media if you want this to be successful.
Them having Byron Allen as the owner of the parent company,
major asset,
takes away my concern about that. If you go look at HBCU Go, they have a lot of content. There's an up and coming guy that we actually
consistent.
We actually use them, and we use Lights on College Sports. Shout out to Lights on College Sports, young guy who focuses on HBCU sports. Those are the two consistent mainstays of posts. Lights on College Sports. I expect for him to get picked up really, really soon.
Yep.
So I'm not really concerned about that, but I do think all these other schools and all these other places like the MEAC need to do some type of consulting or something with Byron Allen to figure out how to get their presence known. So you're right, man. This is a great move, and I expect the content to elevate, not stay the same, and I don't expect it to digress either. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our HBCU News Around the Culture segment. Beverages, I actually don't have one. I have some water because I was on storm duty. So we will be right back with our football news around the league, and then we'll wrap up with our basketball news around the league. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Refill. No L. Varner.
Ooh, throwback.
Can I get a refill?
Lord.
In a dusty attic, a vinyl of love awaits, always to be played. I heard that phone on the floor, it's magic, just won't fade away. I need melody in you, night and day. Every single rotation, a note for you, and every single note is one I wrote for you.
do this.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our... Nope. Why are you shaking your head?
I have a no sound.
I can hear you. I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Yes, but I can't. Hold on, let's try this. Bear with us, folks. Try it now. Oh, we back.
Where did we go?
I got hated on. I'm back.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our football segment of episode 135 of the Splash Cast Monday Night Raw on a Tuesday. Got a few things we're going to talk about today, man. We're going to start out with NCAA football. But before we do that, what can they do, Norwood?
They can like, they can follow, they can subscribe. They can DM us and tell us how great the podcast is. They can repost it on the Instagram. They can tell their grandmother about the topics that we talk about. They could show up to a HBCU. They could donate to HBCU. There's a myriad of things you could do, and we love you for it all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get right into it. Michigan won the national championship. They beat Washington. That defense played a hell of a game, 34-13. What were your thoughts on the national championship?
Michigan. I'm coming here humbly today. Come on, go ahead. Give me my ISO, please. I talked about y'all all season. I didn't think that y'all could do it. I questioned you at every turn. I didn't respect your team. I didn't respect JJ McCarthy. I still don't think that he's like a Heisman candidate or anything. But at the end of the day, you did what was required. You won the game. You won the game handily. You dominated University of Washington, who I believe to be the best team in college football. Then y'all made it look easy. I'm one of those. I'm doing better about if I said something, I'm gonna come back right on this show and apologize and say, hey, I was wrong. So this is my first 2024. I was wrong. I was wrong about Michigan. Congratulations. Y'all won the championship. Without a shadow of a doubt, you did what needed to be done. Congratulations.
I ain't doing none of that shit. Michigan played a really good game. They just beat that whole. Listen, this is about the third time now that I didn't see a team say they had the best offensive line in the country. Just out there, and that offensive line just got whipped. The first time, ironically, was Michigan. That was the number one offensive line in the country when they played Georgia, the first championship, and got absolutely destroyed in the Orange Bowl. Ironically, J.J. McCarthy played that game too. I don't want to bury the lead. Shout out to Michigan for y'all doing what you were supposed to do and winning the game. Y'all neutralized Michael Penix Jr. Y'all neutralized that run game, and eventually they had to abandon the run game. And when you become one-dimensional against good defenses, that is basically by the end of the game, they were just teeing off on him. It was I think he had bruised ribs. His ankle was messed up. Bro. They were teeing off on him because they couldn't stop him. So shout out to Michigan. This was probably the worst case scenario for the NCAA to me. Because, and I'm going to take this off because I'm telling the truth and y'all going to say I'm hating. I mean, they still have that scandal. They asked Jim Harbaugh about the cheating scandal in the press conference directly after they won the national championship. 1 hour later, they asked him about it. He said, we're innocent. So, of course, everybody else, all your rivals are going to say that is an asterisk. And I was joking around partly when I put the asterisk on social media after y'all won. But for the game, y'all played well. Do I think Michigan is the best team in the country? No. Yes, I'm a homer. You can call it what it is. What I saw out there on that field, I don't think they would have beat Georgia. I don't think they wouldn't have beat Georgia. I don't think Washington would have beat Georgia. I don't think Texas would have beat Georgia. I don't think in a rematch, Alabama would have beat Georgia. I don't think any team is better than Georgia the whole year. And it's unprecedented to go from 1-6. And then when we saw it, hell, I don't really think a lot of them teams would have beat Florida State. I think Florida State would have put the same product out there on the field that we saw out there in the playoffs. So, with that being said, you can only play who's in front of you. And Michigan dominated. They got a few questions. I don't know what they're going to do with Donovan Edwards. He played and had 2 touches for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. They scored on the first 3 plays of the game.
Now, that's the part, man. They had 2. I look up, and every time he get a handoff, he run for 40 yards. Bro, you can't have him running 40s. This ain't the combine.
So this game got out of hand in the fourth quarter. But for the whole game, it was close. It was 17-10. And Michigan really didn't do anything in the second or third quarter. They scored 14 points in the first 5 minutes of the game and went at halftime up 17-10. JJ McCarthy. All right, I'm done. I gave y'all congratulations. Let's get to the real shit. Kirk Herbstreit was, the nuts that he was holding that belonged to JJ McCarthy the whole damn game was ridiculous.
That boy said he was double cupped. Double cupped.
He was talking about JJ McCarthy in the third quarter had completed 4 passes. Not in the third quarter, total for the game. I think he only completed, I got it right here. He threw the ball 18 times in 4 quarters. That means he threw the ball 4.5 times a quarter.
Yeah.
4.5 times. And if y'all call him great value, Trevor Lawrence, that ain't Trevor Lawrence is great value.
We're going to get to Trevor Lawrence.
That's dollar store. So at that point, Michael Penix Jr. played his worst game that I've seen. And he was still leaps and bounds ahead of J.J. McCarthy. And all you heard Kirk Herbstreit, J.J. McCarthy had a run on third down for 15 yards, and they talked about that the whole drive. The whole drive after
it was a hell of a run. And I just knew that they were going to get out, but I also knew that was going to be like his cementing play. As soon as I was like, all right, it's 30-15, and I was like, oh, yeah, we finna get out of here. Nope. JJ, like, now y'all my thing is, if you believe in him, draft him. That's where I want to see what people really believe and what they're saying. Do it. Draft him.
Yeah, and like I said before, Jim Harbaugh was asked in the press conference after the game about the cheating allegations, and he said we're innocent. What kind of gives them a little bit of bail is they were accused of cheating, and their defense got better. After they got exposed, their defense just shut down everybody. JJ want to be Sam Darnold when he grows up. Lord, the chat is hilarious.
And that's about what I think. I think at best case scenario, you scammy Darnold. Y'all know Scam Darnold been trash.
Marcus Mariota.
Desmond. No, he can't run.
Yes, he can.
No.
That's what makes him attractive is that he can move. Desmond
whatever
Ritter.
It is, drop that thing a little bit lower, bro.
He is Desmond Ritter and Zachary Taylor Thomas put together. I'm telling y'all he ain't that good. But what I'm saying is Michigan, they needed a rallying cry to get to get over the hump. They got it. Called them cheaters. They got caught cheating. You know, the guy had on the glasses, taking pictures of the everything, and he was on the other people. That's the part that they have. Their media team has done a great job. They swept that under the rug. The stealing signs from across during the game. That's what they focused on, and they said that was legal. They ain't say nothing about him having the credentials and being on Minnesota sideline with the glasses on behind the coach holding the pad. They ain't say nothing about that. They skipped right over all of that, which is a great media team. But to me, and y'all can call it hate, I don't care. The asterisk is, one, a lot of people don't feel you played the 4 best teams. You put the 4 best teams there. 2, you have the cheating allegations. It sucks, but that's life.
No, it don't suck. Don't cheat. You cheated. You cheated. You cheated. You cheated. You've been cheating. You got caught cheating. It caught you 3 times, convicted you 2 times in 1 season. What are you doing here? You cheated. Now, you cheated in 1, so I guess that's okay, but we got to be real here, too. It's just, you're going to have to deal with that asterisk. You ain't like it, you shouldn't have been cheating.
I mean, you can hate the college football committee because I'm telling y'all, I think, I don't care what y'all say, Georgia would have beat Michigan again. But you only beat who's in front of you. Yes. So are they the Astros or the Bubble Lakers? They are definitely been called the Houston Astros of college football, is what they've been called. I've seen it.
They both got people cheating. Yeah. Looking at people's strategy. Yeah, that's cheating.
Before we move on to Florida State, real quick, what's his name?
If I said it, are you gonna edit it when I say it?
You can. You're gonna say it wrong, but I know what his name is.
Podcast, and I hear it just like y'all after Reggie get done editing, and it'll be like, oh.
So basically, let me introduce it. There's a high school football player who is a Division I prospect, 3 or 4 star linebacker, who is taking a visit to West Virginia in January. He's the class of 2024. I'm sorry. Yeah, class of 2025. He's taking a visit in January. He goes to Lawrenceburg High School. What's his name, Norwood? I'll tell y'all the pronouncing. Noah Naysayer.
His name is Noah Kanega. Kanega.
Knigga. Knigga.
Now, I know it. That's Noah Kanega. And you may know a naysayer, and if you know a naysayer and they say that he should say his name differently, that's between you, him, and them. But I'm gonna mind my business.
Between my fist,
but somebody,
your face,
this name is gonna get somebody fired. Gonna get somebody fired.
First off, I'm gonna say it every week. I better not hear y'all say naysayer. Better not hear it. I'd heard it a couple times on TV, and y'all, that's our word now. It's our word, whether you like it or not. It's our word. Just like, nope, can't go there. I can't say that because
naysayer, please.
So, but Noah Kanega, see.
Kanega. See, there we go right there. See, that went from phonetics. Phonetics is key here. It's the most important. Enunciation and pronunciation have to be impeccable.
I would change my name. I would change the I in my name to an E. Just to do, I don't care. People do it all the time. They change their name all the time. They do it all the time. I change my name.
I ain't getting into too many people family business, but I'm gonna tell you, sometimes legacies need to change, and we going in a different direction.
If you make it all the way to the league, let me tell you, you're gonna lose 50% of your sponsorship right there, and you in a league that has a lot of.
And I mean, you got to be real. Like, a part of it is like being marketable. That's the reason. Unfortunately, you got people like Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay's jerseys was never going to sell. It was out of his control, but that's what it is.
He got bad marketing. He could have. I'd have had all the rainbow jerseys out there. Listen,
no, Reggie, stop.
Labor Day would have been my day. I'd have been out there.
Hey,
they rally.
You stop.
I ignored I was gonna say rainbow before. You took
we're gonna
naysayer,
go
they
right
took the
into
rainbow.
yeah, I'm happy for the Kanega family. Please make sure you pronounce that as Kanega. I want to continue. Like, our podcast is really taking off now. Shout out to all the support the world, all y'all in here with us, the people everywhere
boy.
reaching out.
Woo!
Reggie not finna tear this up for me, yo.
That boy is Michael Jackson moonwalking back like we'll shout out everybody.
We are done, dead. Do not
Memphis
pass
beat
go.
them
Do not collect
120-103. No no Jared Jackson Jr. That's crazy.
17 on them.
And to round out our college football talk, man, shout out to Michigan. I don't know what Washington. This transfer portal is crazy. But there was the Orange Bowl. We talked about it, 63-3. Kirby Smart said after the game, "It sucks that I had to do this." It's almost like Kirby Smart gave the whole speech that your daddy give you after he give you a whooping. Like, it sucks that I had to do this, but I had to send a message. And the message was, when you play and everybody opts out and you leave the teammates here, this is what happens. They lost 63-3 against Georgia. Georgia had no opt-outs. They had 2 players that were hurt. And, hurt. I think those were 2 opt-outs. But they had 2 players that were hurt, but they're top 10 lottery picks. And everybody else played, including everybody that was going to transfer. They set a goal to play everybody and played. Mike Norvell was put probably in the... I felt so bad for Mike Norvell because he, like I said before, he did everything right. And then you watch the college football playoff and you know he did everything right and he was sure enough shot. Like, he was shot down. But he delivered an emotional speech that at the end of the Orange Bowl in the 63-3 loss. I'm going to listen to a little bit of it. Y'all, here it is.
Since the very first day that I came here, right, hard work does not guarantee success. It doesn't, and it never will.
Emotional.
But it absolutely will put you in the best position to be able to achieve it. I think that's one thing that we've seen throughout the course of this season. So we got some remarkable men that are sitting here in front of me. And the work you put in, the decision that you made, just to say yes, because you know what? It's really easy when things don't go well, right? And you hurt, right? And you're angry, and you're sad.
I don't want to ruin the moment, but ESPN got some great editors. The soundtrack put to this makes this even more. But we're gonna finish this part and then we'll talk about it.
The easiest thing to do is to pull back and stop. That's what the world wants you to do. But there's only a select few people that are willing to freaking fight.
And he goes on to those. If you look at the picture, if you're watching, if you're listening, he goes on to bring the seniors up. He apologizes to the seniors. He apologizes on behalf of the staff that he wasn't able to get the players that opted out to stay. And he basically said it's just a messed up situation. And he applauds them for even going out there and trying to represent Florida State in an upstanding manner. And you should hold your head high. Kirby was right. Something's got to be done. Something's got to be done.
Yeah,
but there's nothing that you can do.
This is worst case scenario. But honestly, I can't lie. It's unfortunate to these guys specifically, but in the whole landscape, this thing isn't going to matter for much longer. Fortunately, they're going to go to a 12-team playoff. So now, at 12 teams, if you can't get into that top 12, then it's not that many conversations I think that need to be had. I honestly think it's 8. And I think that the way that they're going to transition to 12 teams, this will end up being an afterthought. But we always knew from day one that 4 teams wasn't enough. College football just got lucky enough that it didn't present itself in this type of situation until they were moving into a different direction. But at the end of the day, this is terrible. I feel bad for these players. They just, and I know that the way that game finished with Washington and Michigan is not going to give them the solace that they needed to feel better. Had it looked a different way, then maybe you like, you know what, maybe we didn't stand a chance. But if you look at it, you're like, man, we could have probably competed. We at least deserve the opportunity to play against these two teams. Like,
And the fact, I think it
that
hurts
sucks,
more
man.
for them because, like I said, I'm a UGA fan, and I know just the eye test tells me that UGA was the best team in the country. But the criteria that they used to bounce out UGA, Florida State met all that criteria. And you used the eye test to keep them out. And you really didn't use the eye test because they had probably a top 4 defense in the nation. So it hurts for them because they're undefeated and a conference champion, and you didn't let them in. I don't even say let them. You didn't put them in. You kept them out. So
Yeah, they like.
And the thing is, and to wrap this up,
stay with them for the rest of their lives too. It ain't. I mean,
what they looking at trying to raise money to leave the ACC.
Oh, they out of there.
Nah,
And
the buyout is like $250 million. I mean, I'm sorry, $750 million. And the buyout is either 572 or 742 is the buyout.
Oh damn. Oh well, litigation. 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 If I can't do it, I'm gonna give you the first right of refusal. Hey, let me out. If not, well, we got to get the lawyers involved because you can't. I can only do this one time, and I really can't. I couldn't afford to do it this one time because Florida State was just kind of getting. They're getting their footing back at yeah, and the one time we get a chance to get back, y'all do this. Oh no, because you playing with the state's money. Like you're playing like Florida State University. That is a state college. There's a lot of money been invested in this program, and y'all just kind of chumped us off. Nah, we need something. We need compensation.
Yeah, man. So, shout out to Mike Norvell for being a class act. First off, the college football season is over. But to your point, you said it's not gonna matter because, and this is what I'll wrap up with. You said it's 12 teams. Like Kirby said, yeah, it's 12 teams. So that's 6 games. There are 67 bowl games. So that means you still have 61 other bowl games where everybody is going to opt out. Well, actually, as we said before last week, the bowl games are actually pretty good this year. So you probably won't opt out of those. But you still have to figure it out, especially if this is going to happen. And I think this is really more of an outlier now I think about it because Florida State got done so wrong that everybody on that team, like my initial reaction was I wouldn't play in the Orange Bowl. And they basically didn't play in the Orange Bowl. That's not a shot. That's the truth. They didn't play in the Orange Bowl.
You know, you can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. I done told people to go to hell for a lot less. This, I'll be butthurt. And I will be inconsolable. If I'm Norvell, I'm telling people a lot of eat a bag, you know what? Yeah, I'm going rogue like Jameis. That's what I'm gonna tell you that I will be doing. But
yeah. So it is what it is. We're gonna see a whole new set of problems with this 12-team thing, with this 12-team playoff. We already said that you're gonna end up having Liberty versus Alabama, and that's just, I mean, that's gonna be
good. Who got whooped this year? Somebody got dogged out this year.
Liberty got demoralized.
Good. Liberty.com. Getting stomped out. And I'm happy about that. But they need that stomp out. You need to maintain. They say if terror is not maintained, you need to show them. Get out of my face. Get out of this conversation. Who was that? USF. Oh, we went undefeated. Man, come
Central
on in
Florida.
here and get your ass whooped. Come on in here and get your ass whooped. You get stomped out like everybody else. We're going to do you just like we do the HBCUs at March Madness. 1 verse 12. Lace them up. Win.
So we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to. I will say I am looking forward to it. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's get to some NFL, man. So, Bloody Monday, Bloody Monday, Bloody Monday.
Fire. Boom, boom, boom.
We recorded our episode.
Boom, boom.
Let me tell y'all, bro. We recorded the ATL edition and talking about the Falcons and everybody needs to be fired, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Not everybody, just him.
We ended at 11 o'clock. At 12:02,
I'm in my drop top. He cruising the streets.
At 12:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it came out that Arthur Smith was fired. Let me tell you
Closing time.
Let me tell y'all
Last
something.
call for alcohol.
They played at 1 o'clock, ended at 4 o'clock, had to go back, had to shower, had to change, had to go back to the hotel, left the airport at 6:30 or 7, got home at 8, which means he didn't go home. They didn't let him go home. He got back to the facility,
right after.
and they
tried to catch you right after, dog.
They had that exit interview, and they had them Harvey bodyguards out by, instead of 5, it was 12. They said, you cannot be on the books till tomorrow at business time, at business open. You are off the books.
See, I don't know about you. Have you ever been released from a job before?
Yeah. College? What? Yeah. College? I was running through them jobs.
I mean, okay. I was thinking more of like a
corporate
adult
position.
job.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I've been downsized before, and they're like, "Hey, big dog, come on here real quick." You
saw
know
what
when
Sneaky
they
just
say,
said? Come on in. They don't even. At least they didn't do him like Herm Edwards. They did Herm. They fired Herm in the end zone. That's not funny.
Hey, big dog, you got a second? When they ask you, do you got a second? And it's always a walk from where you are to where they're going to have this meeting. And this whole walk, this person next to you is walking. There is clear tension. They're not saying much. And they're going to say, they always open the door. Then they tell you to go into the room first. Rule number 1, don't never go in that room first. Be like, no, you go ahead. Number 2, when you walk in there and say, they're going to tell you to have a seat.
At the head of the table.
When they tell you, yeah. Nah, it's going to be a desk, and you're going to be on one side. He's going to make his way on around, sit on down. He's going to have some papers in front of him.
That's not how I've seen it. That's not how we do it at our company. It is they put you in a room with security. There is a long desk. You're on one side, and there's a panel on the other, and the police are standing behind you. And
y'all are ill. Y'all are ill. Y'all are just... that's actually terrible, because they putting you in the position to wild out, and then got the police right there to hit like that. Nah, that hasn't been my experience, but yeah, that's. I think that he knew it. I think he knew it when Dennis Allen was trying to explain the whole situation at the end of the game. He was so mad. I think he knew at that point, yeah, I'm fired.
So yeah. So I gotta, before we move on to the other two, or I think it's 3, really 2. Before we move on to the other 2, I got a problem with Arthur Blank and Rich McKay. I don't know why. I don't have a problem with them firing Arthur Smith, but they said that Arthur Blank, the owner of the team, and Rich McKay, the right-hand man who has no position. He's just Rich McKay. We'll see. He's CEO. No, he's not. Are going to lead the search for the next head coach. Arthur Blank is 138 years old. Rich McKay didn't. We'll leave that there. You have a whole GM who put together a fantastic roster. Why not let the GM
with glue and paper mache, mind you? It's not like he didn't have the money that the 49ers had. He was out there. Let me use a little clay. Let me spit in my hands and then see if I can made a team, made a defense. Let's be very clear. We spent the draft capital on the offense, Bijan, Pitts, Algier, Drake London. That defense, just, hey, what can we get? What can we put together?
So you have Terry Fontenot, who's done everything correctly, and as we talk about corporate America, we know what happens when you are a zombie employee. When you're a zombie leader in management or in leadership, the way that they fire you without firing you is take away all your responsibility and all of your reports. When, as the GM, when you take away the responsibility of me picking the head coach, that you're going to pick the head coach, then that means that head coach is no longer linked to me and can complain and say, hey, it's either him or me. Whereas if I'm the GM, it's like, well, hey, you know, this guy hired me, we're a package deal, I got you, or whatever. This is foul to me. This seems like a way to get rid of Terry Fontenot without having the responsibility of getting rid of Terry Fontenot. And if they hire somebody that he doesn't agree with, it looks like to me, I've seen this play out in corporate situations, they're going to use that the coach and the GM aren't getting along and they're going to fire him.
Yeah.
And if they do that, I'm going to call a spade a motherfucking spade.
Oh, no. We don't have the clip. I will try to get it. But Atlanta is sick of Arthur Blank. And for the first time in a long time, I saw him on the hot seat. You know, and I appreciate the interviewer. I don't even know who said it, but he essentially said, hey, over the last 11 years, we've had 2 playoff teams. We've had 3 coaches. None of them made it more than 4 years. At what point does that fall on you, and how are you expected to garner support from the fan base when we perpetually are in the same situation? And he didn't really have a good answer. You know how when somebody kind of get slapped on the nose and you're like, oh, shit. And I appreciate that, because that's a risky question to ask the guy who owns the team. I mean, you see David Tepper throwing drinks at people. So, I mean, any response could be there. So I appreciate that brave guy for answering the question. You could tell that guy's probably a real Falcons fan. And you're right. Rich McKay and Arthur Blank, you might not be David Tepper, you might not be Jim Irsay, but you are looking very incompetent.
I think that they should let Terry Fontenot do his job. I think he will hire the right guy because you already have the pieces. You have all of the parts that you need. You already know what type of person you need. If they go and hire Bill Belichick, I will not watch a Falcons game next year. I'm putting that on record. We got media. It's going to be on Facebook. I'm going to make this a real. If they hire Bill Belichick, I'm probably not going to watch unless they make it to the Super Bowl.
Hey,
I'm not going to watch.
I hate to tell you, and I guess we can kind of, do you want to go there now about Wes Welker and his opinion on Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
No. Let's because I was gonna tie that into Vrabel.
But I want to be very clear about this part. Drake London, young African American man. Bijan Robinson, young African American man. Kyle Pitts, young African American man. AJ Terrell, young African American man. Everything that we've heard about Bill Belichick since Tom Brady has left there is Tom Brady is the Patriot way, and that they don't enjoy playing for Bill Belichick. We are Atlanta. And I'm going to tell y'all, I already feel a way that, and this has nothing to really do with it, but it's just the way I feel. We got Trae Young for the culture. Well, if I got to deal with Trae Young for the culture, do not send me Bill Belichick. You better send me Eric Bieniemy for the culture. Belichick, his time has come and gone. He's for the older guard of the NFL. I have questions about how good of a coach he is. That's just me. But at the end of the day, you can't really dispute it because it's success. But he does not fit in this new NFL, and I do not want him as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I'll say that out of my mouth. You can clip that and put that on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Black Planet, wherever you want to put it. I mean it. And if y'all and I see everything talking about Belichick and maybe Harbaugh. Harbaugh is a little bit better, but Belichick is a not no, but a hell no. And that'll be one of the few things that will just like it'll turn Reggie, it'll probably turn me, and I think you'll lose more of the fan base.
Saints fans, hold on now, Saints fans. Don't come up here talking about who that. Y'all trash too now. Y'all trash. We just got a trash quarterback. No.
You ran up the score in what? Are you going home or no?
B-Mac, what's up, though? I appreciate you tuning in, though. Shout out to B-Mac. Shout out to Baton Rouge, Southern New Orleans. We love y'all. Got family out there with school out there. But listen, the Taints are terrible.
All on the sofa together. And you want to know what the difference between us is? Our quarterback did cost $150 million.
They coach, too. Yep.
We got to buy one, get one. Y'all still got that raggedy car. Y'all best quarterback, y'all going to fire because he's standing up for the team. Shout out to Jameis. Salute.
Yep. But to bring it back, man, the reason I brought up Belichick is because Belichick is saying the Patriots it seemed like they are really torn. Kraft is really torn and he needs to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. And if they get if the Patriots, I think we're trying to pull off a trade for Vrabel. And the Titans could not get a good enough deal for Mike Vrabel. So Vrabel has been fired from the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry has basically he had a press conference after the game and told all y'all goodbye. He thanked the lunch lady. He told everybody goodbye. And Mike Vrabel is linked to two jobs. The Patriots, because he played there, and Ohio State. If I were him, I would probably go. I mean, the Patriots he's a player's coach, allegedly. If they can, I would go to the Patriots because at least you're gonna have job security. He ain't gonna fire you.
I disagree there. I feel like number one, like getting the Patriots going, like teams are like I look at teams with trends and inertia. Nothing about the Patriots right now is interesting. Nothing about the Patriots says players want to play there. And you're going to have to collect a bag of players. You don't have a quarterback. I assume Zeke not coming back. You don't have a running back. I think Juju was your wide receiver one, which is a joke. So you don't have a wide receiver. You don't have anything other than that first round pick. And even once you draft him, you just saw what happened with Bryce Young. You better get over to Ohio State, bro. You get over there, you can be the king of the kingdom. You're going to get all of the money. He's from
Northeast Ohio, too, ain't he? He's from up that way.
Yes, that's his home. You better get over to where they going to love. Like, Robert Kraft, you're right. You got job security and all of that. But you're going to have to culturally zoom that organization into the future. And that organization is probably a decade behind. Let's be real here. Like, you're going to have to make it attractive for people to come to Boston. And due to the demographics of the NFL, they only going to Boston to win.
It'll be like Iowa. But, I mean, the advantage of going to the Patriots is if you go, you get to start from scratch. I don't even know. I would say they're gonna blow it up, but they ain't got nothing. So all you gotta do is throw a firecracker in there. Like, they gonna firecracker it up to get everything out of there, and you get to build the team in your image from the beginning. So that is the advantage. But we told y'all that was gonna happen. That's two. Really three, because Brandon Staley was fired a long time ago.
No. Actually, hold on. I got the list here. There are 6 available positions right now. Frank Reich with the Panthers, Josh McDaniels with the Raiders, Brandon Staley with the Chargers, Falcons, Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, and the Commanders, and Mike Vrabel.
Right. But I was saying, like, those 3 that you said at first were fired during the season. These guys were fired after the season.
He been fired during the season too. Hell.
But we told y'all that he was a zombie coach at the beginning.
And let me help all of y'all out. If they fire or they trade 50% of your defensive line and 100% of your starting defensive ends, let me tell you, nope, not gonna say nothing. But if they do that, you're fired. If you don't know that you fired, and poor Ron, I ain't gonna say poor Ron Rivera. You've had 2 ample opportunities
Ron Rivera
with Carolina.
You fumbled Cam Newton. For those that are listening, we're talking about Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera was fired from the Commanders on Monday. Go ahead.
If you don't know that he was fired, then you don't probably watch no sports. But with that said, the thing for me is I felt bad because it sounded like he just done with football. I think he about to retire.
He should. He been in football for 50 years.
And you just beat cancer, dog. Go ahead and enjoy your, spend some, what we say here. Spend some time with your family, dog.
Yeah, because coaching ain't it. I'm gonna tell you that now. Right now,
or be running a coordinator. You can be a good defensive coordinator, but
it's you can be a linebackers coach, D-line coach. You need to be one of those.
He put you on the Brian Flores plan.
Well, not quite. But the reason I say that is the thing that's interesting about Washington is they've got a little bit of a decision to make too. I'm assuming they're kind of in the same position as the Falcons, really, because the Falcons only except they got offense and we got defense. They have Eric Bieniemy, who I assume when you hired him, you're not gonna hear like what I got to say then. When you hired Eric Bieniemy, you knew that he was probably going to be the coach in waiting, or you hired him and you knew that he was going to leave after he got this co-coach because he's co-head coach or something like that. You knew that he was going to leave. To me, this team has to figure out in this organization, yes, Magic, you too, you got to figure out, are you going to stick with Bieniemy? And if they stick with Bieniemy, they're going to try to trade up and get a quarterback, either Caleb Williams, who is from Maryland, or Jaden Daniels or something like that. Or are you going to clean house? Because I think they fired their general manager, too. And
they got Terry McLaurin over there and maybe Brian Robinson, who I think
say that
his
again?
story is
Wait, hold on. Say that again. Who they got?
Terry McLaurin.
Oh, you think he's good?
No. I know that y'all think he's good. I don't think.
Oh, ain't nobody bring him up but you.
That's the guy who everybody loves. And I be looking like, I ain't interested in that at all. I think that Eric Bieniemy is on his way out, and I think that the reason I believe that is if you watch those play calls from that game, he put his best stuff on display. He pulled out, he dusted off the Kansas City playbook, and all of that you wanted to see, the misdirection, everything that we only believe that San Francisco has, he was like, hey, I got this too. And that's the reason I was like, oh, yeah, he might really be headed to Atlanta. He's trying to let y'all know, hey, if y'all get me Bijan and Kyle Pitts and Drake London, we're going in 17 directions. Tackle everybody. I dare you.
So I would love to see that. But I think you're going to have to coaching vacancies normally have to get filled a lot faster than I think some of these teams' timelines are on. Follow me what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields throws a monkey wrench into a lot of teams' plans.
The entire draft.
Because the Bears have 2 number 1 picks. Uh-oh. Chinese weather balloons? Okay. The Bears have 2 number 1 picks. You have to decide, are you going to build around Justin Fields, who would play a hell of a second half of the season, or are you going to let him go because you still have to re-sign him eventually? Or are you going, and then you could trade the picks, or are you going to trade him and draft the mock draft we've seen from multiple places? This is the 33rd team. NFL page says Caleb Williams going number 1 to Chicago. If Caleb Williams goes number 1 in Chicago, then Chicago's definitely trading is trading Justin Fields. Atlanta is top of the list for Justin Fields. But look who they have us drafting here at number 8, Michael Penix Jr. This is why I say Justin Fields throws a lot of monkey wrenches into everything. Because if you hire a coach, and I think Atlanta is in the perfect position here. If you hire Eric Bieniemy, you can say, I would love to go and get Justin Fields, but we have the number 8 pick. I will also take a quarterback. There. You can go either way. Justin Fields could turn this from quarterbacks going number 1 to wide receivers going number 1 to trades down. He basically controls the top 10 of the draft. Well, not him, Chicago.
Yeah. So this is the thing here is it's not really on Washington. Washington's in a tough position because they can trade up, but you definitely have to be concerned about. I mean, if I'm Robert Kraft and I see Caleb Williams there, I might say, hey, I need a quarterback. Get me a quarterback. If I got to use 2 first to skip the line, then hell, we're just going to lose next season. We're going to lose next season anyway.
First off, they're not lose. You talking about 2 first as in their 3rd pick in the first round next year?
No, I'm saying that I'm going to. Yeah, I mean.
That's a steep price to move up 2 picks.
Yes, but if you don't move up, I could 100% see the Falcons saying, hey, you can get this year's first, next year's first, and and maybe another, because we really just swapping positions. I could see the Falcons being like, hey, man.
Well, the Falcons can move up because they also got a 3rd round pick because of Calvin Ridley hitting all his metrics for that trade. So they got another 3rd round pick. So once that can fade Sunday, that's why you saw all these news clippings of the Falcons starting to trade up and make trades for Justin Fields or trade up to the number 1 because they have like 2 extra picks, which is why you should allow Terry Fontenot to cook, by the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For sure. And keep Ryan Nelson. But yeah, you can. If I'm the Falcons, you got to make people spend your money. And that might be the name of this episode. Nah, it probably ain't because we got to keep it with the naysayers. But make people spend their money. Hey, this is kind of like what we did with Cleveland, where, hey, we're willing to pay this dude. What are y'all willing to pay to make sure that we don't get him? And we make Cleveland spend their money. And I think that overall, their Harbaugh was a great job. They spent a lot of money, and I don't end up thinking that just going to work out for them the way that they believe it is. And I think that this is another opportunity where we, like you said, we got some extra draft capital. Hey, Chicago. And
whatever y'all want to do. We'll take Fields, or we'll take the number, or we'll take Caleb. Whatever y'all want to do.
Whatever you don't want, whatever your trash is, whatever your recycling is, put it outside by 10 p.m. We'll come by and get it. We'll come on right by your house and get it.
So that is the wrap up of the teams in the offseason, the firings. We are now going to talk about the playoffs. Man, ain't nobody trading Pitts. Shut up, Sneaky. Although we tried to trade him this year. That's why I had to fire Arthur Smith. Throwing to Jonnu Smith. We'll trade Jonnu. Yeah, the Renaissance here.
Hey, why y'all playing? That's not. Hey, he got some value. It's plenty of teams that could use Jonnu Smith. And the Patriots gave him to us. Like, hey, we don't need him.
Wild card. So playoffs are set. Houston versus Cleveland. Tampa Bay versus Philly. Detroit, LA, Dallas, Green Bay, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Miami. Let me tell y'all, the script writers Had they golden pen out this year, had they golden pen out, you get Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City. You get Matt Stafford going back to Detroit. You get Mike Holmgren. No, not Mike Holmgren. What's Dallas coach?
I think you almost made me give you the finger. Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy going back to Green Bay. You have Cleveland, probably the number 2 defense in the league, I want to say, behind Baltimore. Travesty what happened to the AFC North. Travesty. Behind Baltimore, you have Houston playing the number 2 defense with the possibility, if Cleveland were to beat Houston, to play Baltimore, who they already beat this year. This is one of the best, on paper, one of the best playoff brackets I've seen in a long time. Too many stories. Did you freeze?
I'm trying to compute it all in my head at one time. I don't have it's gonna be interesting. Especially because you got Flacco playing for Cleveland, not even Deshaun Watson. Miami
who then could win and go back to Baltimore.
Miami can't beat a good team. Kansas City just looked like they didn't run out of gas. Hey, Josh Allen, you better beat whatever quarterback that the Pittsburgh Steelers roll out there. I'm gonna tell you that. Because Stephon Diggs is about tired of this shit. Eagles. We're going to get to y'all here in a little bit. And Jared Goff, this is your moment. This is your moment in the sun.
Oh, I forgot about
They
Jared
traded
Goff.
you.
For Matt
They
Stafford.
traded you. And I don't think, I'm a firm believer, he's the Anthony Davis of the NFL for me. They didn't need to trade him to win the championship. They got to a championship. They probably just needed one more good run at it with a couple players, and they could have won the championship. If this is your time to stick it to the Rams, let them have it. And then Jordan Love. If you get them Cowboys out of here, boy, let me tell you, boy, if them Cowboys lose,
they got an offense, and they got LaFleur, and they can play. And they got it now. Quietly, they got
Jordan
defense
Love.
too.
Let me tell you, if you win this game, people will leave you the hell alone. Hell alone. The hell alone. And you will force their hand to make you go get another, you could make them go get a receiver. You could do the one thing the Aaron Rodgers could not do is, hey, I beat the Cowboys. Go get me a receiver right now.
They're the youngest roster in the playoffs. They are the second youngest roster in the league. They have all the young receivers. All of their receivers are young.
No. I don't want none of them. I want one of them. I want one of these guys out of this draft. This draft has so many good receivers. You can get your guy. Christian Watson, cool enough. No, I want my guy. Like everybody else has their guy. I feel like if you're a quarterback now, you don't have your man, tell the team they can go to hell. Damn, Jalen Hurts got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Baker got Mike Evans. Cowboys. Oh, Dak got CD. Pitt just need a quarterback. Josh Allen got Stephon Diggs. Tua got the whole damn squad. KC, y'all know y'all better get one. Cleveland, y'all got Amari, and then Houston got Tank Dell, Nico Collins. They got him, and Mechie. So yeah, this is your Jordan Love. Go get you a wide receiver, man. Do it for yourself. Do it for your career and for your future.
And we'll be back on Sunday morning, not Saturday morning. Sunday morning.
Sunday.
To pick the games. We're probably going to have to start at about 11 instead of, or maybe even 10:30 because the games start so early. And they also play on Saturday too. So I don't know how we'll do that. But I'm excited for these. I'm legit excited for these playoffs because of all the storylines. You know who else is excited? My man, Michael Irvin. My man, Michael Irvin, is laying on the desk right here doing shotguns of beer talking about I need to get rid of my hiccups.
And let me be very clear, y'all. You know, we've talked somehow about the workplace damn near the whole podcast today. But this everything here in this next little blurb will be about workplace toxicity. Now, y'all can try to convince me that that's water all you want to, but I have drank enough beer out of a funnel to know this is the turn up. And OG Herb is no stranger to whatever your vice may or may not be.
It is what it is.
This is the best part about podcasts. All you gotta do is hit that and look 15 seconds back, and you'll get the joke. Thanks.
Yeah, man. So workplace toxicity, man.
That's like Reggie Sleer. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. We can do the electric slide.
Yeah, but Michael Irvin, man, he had the hiccups. I think he was celebrating because CeeDee Lamb is doing the 88 right out there. It's kind of like college. So, but in other workplace toxicity, probably the most toxic environment right now, the Broncos, it has now come out that the team actually backed Russ and said they were pissed for Russ. They were pissed for Russ and pissed for a lot of us in general because they were teetering on making the playoffs. And then when they decided to do this is the same thing that happened to Matt Ryan. They decided to bench him, and they ended up not making the playoffs.
The old Rochambeau. So, and I kind of talked about this in the last episode.
That's a word I ain't heard in a long time.
That Denver essentially is going to have to pay a tax for this. Russell Wilson, whatever you feel about him, like or dislike, run the ball, pass the ball at the end of that Super Bowl, he's a future Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And all you've seen Sean Payton do is try to do his damnedest to exert dominance over this guy. And I mean, yeah, you've heard conflicting reports about who Russ is between what you heard from Marshawn Lynch and other players, you know, Richard Sherman, etc. But he's still the quarterback of the team, and quarterbacks get preferential treatment. So if you're a free agent and you see what Sean Payton is doing, and Sean Payton since day one has tried to make it very, very clear that I am the head honcho, I run this team, nobody else does. And basically they believe that if you're going to be a free agent, they're going to tax him for it. If I have to go up here and I have to deal with this guy being an asshole to me, then you have to pay me more money. And that's the reason you got to be careful how you treat these players in 2023, because the message is going to get around, and then they're going to tell people, man, no, that dude's an asshole. He's rude. He's disrespectful. You saw it, you've seen him try to, get his, do whatever against Russ on the sideline, like really chump him off. And they're not stupid. And if they go there, they're going to want their money. And Denver, y'all gave him this control, and y'all going to have to deal with it.
So,
Pony up, Walton family.
So the thing about Russ is whether the rumors are true and you like him or not, don't matter. And not all the time. Yes, the quarterback is the head of the team, is basically an extension of the head coach. But let me tell you what don't matter about position, that contract. Whoever has the largest contract on the team gets preferential treatment. Let me tell you who gets preferential treatment in Pittsburgh. Not none of the quarterbacks. It's T.J. Watt. Let me tell you. Let me tell you who gets preferential treatment in the Jets. It's not Zachary Taylor Thomas. It's Aaron Rodgers and Quentin Williams.
And Sauce gonna get the love.
Yeah, not yet. I'm talking about follow the money. The money goes to Quentin Williams. When you decided to pay Russ this money, you decided to give him preferential treatment. no matter what you decide, whatever Sean Payton says, if you running that organization, you have to be like, hey, Sean Payton, you know this is your quarterback.
Yourself accordingly. Yeah, you got to treat him with some respect. Like, and that's the reason that certain guys like to stay in college, and that's a certain reason that certain people like to stay in the pros. Sneaky. You don't make the most money on this team, so as a professional NFL coach, as an NFL coach, sometimes you got to do what we call shutting the hell up, and you not, you trying to exert this dominance is not going to endear good players to want to come there, and if they do, they're gonna want your money. Good luck.
And like I said before, if I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a mass exodus out of Denver, because if they gonna do this to Russ, who don't say nothing, what you think they gonna do to Judy and Surtain and all them?
I want 15 to 20% more now. I'll go to work.
Gonna pay it.
But if I have to work with this guy, you're going to pay me more money, or I know that my value on the free agency market is through the roof.
Yep. So we're going to follow Denver this offseason. We're going to follow everything this offseason. But we know that this offseason with Denver is going to be very, very interesting because they don't have a quarterback anymore. As of...
No. Okay, so wait. This is the thing. There was a report that came out here a couple hours ago that they've left the door open for him to return in 2024. And I'm like,
duh.
I don't know what y'all, if y'all understand what an open door is, but you don't slam the door in somebody's face like, hey, the door is open for you to come back. My wife is Sierra and I'm rich. I ain't got to do nothing. No, not interested in Russ. It's not that he's a bad quarterback. He played excellent the second half of the season, really probably the last 2/3 of the season. He just don't fit our timeline.
The question was in the chat, would the Falcons take Russ?
The Steelers would.
If I were the Steelers, he kind of does fit our timeline. Everybody else is good. It's just you have to, and we only have to pay him $1 million. Now remember, Denver has to pay 38 of the 39 guaranteed money if they cut him.
Yep, true.
And they have to pay that money. So
I think
you get him for a year.
The Steelers is the right place. Minnesota, who's now probably going to be on the short end of the stick when it comes to quarterbacks. I assume that Caleb is done, Drake May is done, Jaden Daniels is done, Michael Penix is done. What's left?
They're a team that's probably ready. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna follow Russ and see where he goes. I hope I wish him well. And I don't like Sean Payton. I wish him nothing but pain and strife for the rest of his days. So football days. I don't personally, I don't do none of that personal stuff. But as a coach, I hope
you need to stop. You need to stop chumping people off if you want people to come work with you, though. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Minnesota and Bo Nix.
I'm not even entertaining Bo Nix. So moving on. No,
but I'm saying Bo Nix is that team. At that point, that team about the same age. Bo Nix is the same age as
Justin Jefferson. All the quarterbacks are old. All the quarterbacks, most of them are older coming out. But moving on. More workplace toxicity. Wes Welker said, Danny Amendola said about the Patriots way.
Wait. That's not what you did there. Oh, didn't they say it's looking like?
Especially when they put on the helmet, they all 5'11". Didn't they have somebody else? That Danny Amendola, Wes Welker. There was one more person they had. That was little Anglo-Saxon. But anyway,
I'm drinking. I ain't playing.
The dynasty, New England Patriots. The dynasty called the New England Patriots documentary premieres on Apple TV on February 16th. And Danny Amendola said, "We worked for Bill, but we played for Tom." Meaning Bill was the boss, and everybody's been in that. Regulate them to purgatory, why don't you? Everybody's been in a workplace environment where there's management and then your supervisor. You work for, there's supervisor, or I say supervisor and team lead. You work for your supervisor, but you you put in effort for your team lead. It's kind of the same thing as what he's saying.
Julian Edelman is the other guy who you talking
Julian, I told you. Return man, slot receiver, former quarterback. Anglo-Saxon. That's all you got to do. And with Tom Brady, all they did was take the other.
Wait, hold on. So y'all give Tom Brady the credit for Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, and Danny Amendola. But I say the same thing about Sean McVay and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, and then it's like, oh, nah.
You think Puka Nacua you think Danny Amendola is better than Puka Nacua?
I think that all of those guys have been schemed open.
Wayne Corbett, I think Wayne Corbett went from the Jets to the Patriots.
No, man. No, Wayne Corbett would. Remember, he got concussed. They put him out of there.
Austin Collie. They all the same. Austin Collie, he got concussed too.
Kyron Williams, all of those guys. Like, I think they're good enough players, but no, I think it's mostly the fact that McVay. But we can have that discussion on a different day. Oh, Danny Woodhead, I forgot. Yeah, touchdown Tom. But yeah, the overarching thing is they worked for Bill, but you played for Tom. Nobody likes Bill Belichick. And we're not in the NFL of the 1980s where players shut up. Now you have to be likable. And nobody. You know who I really liken Bill Belichick to? It's Coach Joe Taylor. Championship after championship, winning season after winning season, successful player after successful player. But you just don't hear players say that they enjoyed playing football on his team. You won.
Yeah,
that's what you got to enjoy.
He did Falk wrong. Falk scored a touchdown and hopped after the year that he crossed, and he never saw the field again, ever.
Hey, man.
And he was the number 1 wide receiver who was supposed to go to the league. I'm sorry, number 2 because we had Jerome Mathis. Number 2 wide receiver supposed to go to the league. But
he still got to try with the Eagles. But
woo, refs played for Tom too. Yeah, he did.
Go ahead, man. Tear it up. But that's also the same reason I do not want Bill Belichick in Atlanta. If your former players who have no reason to lie, or even let's realistically, even if you work with a person and it wasn't great, if we don't work together anymore, I'm probably not going to say anything that could be perceived negative. I would just kind of leave it where it is. This is a clear shot.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes people don't mince words, man. Sometimes people get right to the point. Just like this New York Giants beat writer who decided to ask Daniel Jones how he feels. He basically said, do you think the Giants should take a quarterback early in the draft? You asked the newly signed starting quarterback, should the Giants draft your replacement? And Daniel Jones basically said, I'm confident in myself. I'm very confident they're going to do whatever they decide to do. Blase, blase, blah. Sometimes it's a disadvantage to be white. This is what I mean. You ain't going to ask no Russell Westbrook this question. You ain't going to ask nobody that has a clear... You ain't gonna ask nobody.
We got a famous meme from you asking Russ stupid question.
And Russ gonna give you, and that's what I'm saying. He's gonna give. Daniel Jones had to give the PC correct answer because that is his image. No, on the other hand, would have been like, boy, what? Do you think that we should hire? And I'd go right down the list. I'd chump somebody off. You ask me, should they hire? Do you think that your person should hire your replacement? Shut the heck up.
You should have asked. You should have let Jameis answer for him.
What do you think?
Okay.
How do you feel? You tell me.
Jameis was kicking that reporter ass, boy. He said, "Oh, so you mad with the team? It's a team decision. You're not mad with me." But please play this clip. And if you're a fan of The Office, the closest thing I can tell you that this is like when they cut to Jim. When they cut to Jim, and Jim's like,
what was that movie? I think it was a movie, The Office, where they was like, hey, so what do you do? Oh, I move this stack of papers from the 3rd floor to this stack on the second
no,
floor.
no. Gosh, the one with the swing line stapler. I know exactly what movie you're talking about. Office Space.
Office Space. Yeah, that's basically what they asked. But here you go. We gonna play it real quick.
Take a quarterback early in the draft, or do you think it's your job and they could look elsewhere to help you as a quarterback?
I'm confident in myself and confident in my abilities, and yeah.
Do you think this?
Let me tell you something. That little laugh means he went home and punched the wall. I probably didn't go home.
No, I see. This is the reason that I really appreciate Jameis, because that reporter tried to humble Jameis. He tried to do his damnedest to make Jameis kind of like change his mind or his opinion. And if I'm Daniel Jones, I'm asking him, hey, do you think that your job should hire another reporter to ask me better questions? And then I'm going to slow blink you to fucking death. No, I want you to answer the question. Do you think your job should hire a better reporter who can ask more intelligent questions? Please answer. Go. You got to start. Hey, if these people are going to disturb your peace in 2024, disturb their peace until they leave you the hell alone.
Yep. We got a couple things. We're going to skip a couple things, but we're going to talk about a couple things. But what we're not going to skip is the four. Now, be safe, Norwood. This is the 4 full-time black head coaches in the playoffs. You have D'Amico Ryan.
You define full-time? Are they full-time head coaches is what you're saying? Don't you hide? I mean,
you got D'Amico Ryan,
man. Yep, 1.
Mike Tomlinson,
2.
Todd Bowles,
3.
and Triple M.
Y'all good at fractions or no? And the reason I'm saying that is because he made it very clear.
Yep.
It's a fraction. We don't put if you're not a whole number, we're not gonna put you with the whole numbers. We're gonna put you with the fractions. Are you an improper or proper fraction? Whatever it is, we can figure it out, but we need to know.
Shout out to the black coaches that made it to head coaches that made it to the that made it to the playoffs, man. I hope none of you guys get eliminated in the first round. But well, I don't know.
And make D'Amico Ryan's coach of the year.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Stefanski ain't got no quarterback over there and went 11.
He got a whole team though. D'Amico Ryan's then came team in there. He like instant hand sanitizer. 99%. He done got rid of all the germs in there. He didn't eliminated the racism. He didn't eliminated the African American coach churn of Lovie Smith and David Tully. He didn't eliminated the fact that the Houston Texans helped hide Deshaun Watson's freaky sessions. Whatever it was, he has cleaned that up. The city is behind him, and not in the same way that the city was behind Deshaun Watson, if you will. I could not make that joke. It's right there. You put the joke by the rim. What you expect me to do? That's my job. Man, what Cat Williams say? I'm here to entertain.
So, man, the black coaches are in the playoffs. Shout out to the Ravens. The Ravens ended with the Triple Crown. Of course, they got to bye. They're the number 1 team. You got Jim Harbaugh won the national championship with Michigan. The dad won the Division II national championship. And the Ravens, John Harbaugh already has a Super Bowl. It looks like he's poised to win another one because that defense got the Triple Crown. They led the league in every major statistical category. They were first in sacks, first in points per game, first in takeaways. The first team in history to lead all three major categories. And I feel like sometimes the Ravens are the only team that just has common sense. They just have common sense. It's funny how some people look like geniuses when all they're doing is operating with common sense. Lamar Jackson dropped to number 32, and they traded in to get him. Roquan Smith, Chicago was just getting out. They were just basically changing up, giving up. So they got him on a bargain deal.
Stupid.
Who else? Kyle Hamilton was supposed to be a top 5 pick, and somebody started a rumor about his injuries, and he dropped to number 18, I want to say, 14. And they got Kyle Hamilton, and he's already a top 5 safety in the league. Already.
Absolutely.
The Ravens are one of the best run organizations. Norwood likes to troll Josh by not talking about him, but
No. Their defense is spectacular. You know how I feel about Kyle Hamilton. That's the guy who I went into the draft like, hey, this is the guy we got to get. You know how I feel about Queen. You know how I feel about Roquan Smith. The defense is spectacular. I just don't trust the wide receiver core. You know, Zay Jones, I think he's coming along. I think that in the whole scheme of things, he probably caps out as like a good wide receiver too. OBJ, I've admitted, is a wild card. When healthy, he's a very good football player. But unfortunately, he hasn't played enough over the last 4 or 5 seasons to be consistent. You got to think at the end of the day, OBJ is not going to be a Hall of Famer. And he's had the talent. He's more talent. He's shown the talent more than a lot of guys who are going to end up Hall of Famers just because he's not been healthy. So, like, it's not a troll for me. I respect this team, but I know that you gotta be a different type of defense to win a championship these days. Now, we'll say this has been the year of the defense. This has been I think one of the best defensive years in NFL history, as of late.
Yep. On the flip side of that, there are 2 teams that basically collapsed at the end of the season. This one team didn't win enough at the beginning of the season to save their season, and the other team did. The team that won enough at the beginning, I think they ended up 10-1, were the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles lost to the Giants, were blown out by the Giants, and they had a chance and this was a meaningful game to get to the number 2 seed. Then, before that, they had lost to the Cardinals. Dallas Cowboys fan in here going off. I thought the Eagles were going to be a sure win to make it at least to the divisional round. I don't know if they can beat Tampa Bay, man. I ain't too sure. In Tampa, it's going to be difficult.
You can't lose to Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. Like, Tampa Bay kind of fell into this situation. They weren't supposed to win the NFC South. You know, well, I told y'all, like, nope. This was supposed to be Baker's end game. He was supposed to go to Tampa. They were supposed to fall off a cliff, and then he was supposed to be, remediated to a backup role for the rest of his career. And he didn't. He went right over there and said, hey, man, let's try to win some games. And now they've won the NFC South. You can't lose to this. If you lose and y'all go 1-6 to end the season, you get put out in the first round, specifically after y'all spent all that money on Jalen Hurts, somebody is going to get fired. And I'm going to tell you what it's really going to look like. It's going to look like other Coach of the Year candidate Shane Steichen was the guy who had this thing going together.
I mean, all the Eagles fans we know have said that from jump. When Shane Steichen left, they was like, oh, crap. So,
Right.
The Eagles, and like I said before, Y'all don't believe me because the money is flowing too much in the NFL, but we gonna see an end of these $200 and something million contracts. We gonna see whenever
Somebody gonna say no
because you now have two. You have two players that have 250 million. Three players with 200 and something million dollars guaranteed that either the team is trying to move on from, is hurt, or is not a return on the investment yet.
Kyler.
Sorry, he's not 250, so I wasn't thinking about Kyler. I was thinking about I was thinking about Russell. I was thinking about Deshaun.
Woo.
And I was thinking about Jalen. Jalen
My
Hurts.
money up. Now I can't re-up. Quote to Walker.
Yep. So you got that interesting tidbit. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Eagles, but like I said, there's a lot of storylines in this playoff. The script writers is writing, but there's some stories outside of the playoffs too. Speaking of, he is who we thought he was, and I mean Norwood. Norwood has called this guy a pumpkin for 3 years. Really, yeah, 3 years since his rookie. Well, not 2 years because nobody really talked about his rookie year because what's his name was so
hurt.
bad. Not even hurt. Yeah. Urban Meyer was there. But
you're right.
The Jaguars had a 4-game lead in the division, a 3-game lead in the division, and lost and ended up not making it to the playoffs. And what's his name? Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine, had one of the worst games we've seen in a long time. He actually missed the throw. He looked like Desmond Ridder out there. He missed the throw that sealed the game for the Titans.
And this is a Titans team
that is about to be. They just got rid of the coach and Derrick Henry out of there.
And you got Ryan Scammahil playing what I assume to be his last game as a Titan. You didn't get beat by their young, new quarterback. Levis wasn't playing. You got beat by a team that was already whooped. And that's the reason I'm going to continue. Like this to me is the more interesting story here is how much money do you spend on a guy who's basically been as good as Daniel Dimes? But the difference is he's always been the number one quarterback since he was, where was he? He was in Lawrenceville. Lawrenceville to Clemson.
Cartersville, 7th grade. Cartersville. Canes.
You're right. Cartersville to Clemson to Jacksonville. He has this loss proved everything that I already knew, but I think that but nobody said anything. It's always interesting when we all see it, but nobody says, what do we pay you? You can't be in the same category as like what Lamar and those guys was getting paid or Patrick Mahomes.
That was my point. That's what makes it tricky. It's not the contract and what you pay him that makes it tricky, because you theoretically could get off by paying him Daniel Dimes money, but offering it to him and he's not going to take it, or somebody else is going to take a flyer, but you end up saving the money. But the tricky part is if you franchise him, you got to pay him like $38 million.
No. But this is the other part. The Giants paid Daniel Jones money. They're not going to see the return on investment at that price. That's an overpay. And if you look at the stats, they damn near the same. So how are you going to tell me that I need to pay him what Daniel Jones got paid, and I see that Daniel Jones is an overpay, and that's attempting to be conservative? And hell no.
Well, you can't pay Trevor Lawrence less. His reputation not gonna allow you to pay him less. So,
and that's the reason. That's what I love about hold on. This is what I love about these situations. Is there has to be a tough decision that has to be made, and the obvious decision is a bad decision. Will a team, which is at the end of the day a company, make a bad decision? And I want to see it. Same thing that I'm interested about the Patriots. I got to see you fire Bill Belichick. Robert Kraft, that's an uncomfortable place for you to be in. And you got to make a very tough decision. And that's what I love.
So now, like I said, the tricky part is you can't franchise him. And because if you franchise him, you are kicking the can down the road, but you're going to be unless you're now playing with fire because he could then, we've seen
Kirk
players
Cousins,
playing contract years.
He's going to turn into Kirk Cousins.
He gonna play a great contract year. You're going to have to pay him 3 years, $130 million guarantee, or 4 years. He going to get that, and it's going to keep happening over and over. And you said Kirk Cousins. For him, Kirk Cousins might be the best idea to go. Just 3 year, $85 million me out. Every 3 years, give me $85 million guaranteed, and I'm out. That might be the best thing to do, or 90. That might be the best thing to do for him. But we gonna see though.
Let me ask you a question. It's not on the script anywhere.
If he come to the Falcons,
would you? No, hell no. I don't want that ghetto around my organization. I told you what I want: Eric Bieniemy, Michael Penix, or Jaden Daniels.
Justin Fields.
If you're the Vikings, Kirk Cousins still got one more year with the Vikings, or is he a free agent?
No, he's a free agent. That's why it was so devastating. He tore his Achilles.
Damn, because I was gonna say you might be like, I think that. Do you consider if you're Minnesota, hey, give me Trevor Lawrence, I'll give you Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins would be a good fit in Jacksonville, and then maybe with Justin Jefferson and Trevor Lawrence, you might have something.
Or you wait on Denver and you go get Russ.
Yeah, I mean, fair. So, do you trade Trevor Lawrence for Russell Wilson?
You wouldn't trade him.
No.
You can't trade him. You can't trade him for Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson makes too much money on his current contract. You'd have to wait for him to get cut.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. You'd have to wait for him to get cut so that they would pay $38 million, and then you could sign him for $1 million, and then if you decide to renegotiate and go for an extension after that. But if you trade him, his contract is still valid, which the kicker starts next year. He hasn't started his 5-year, $260 million extension yet. That starts next year.
Can you trade?
That's $50 million. That's 5 players. That's 4 players you'd have to trade. They got everybody.
So what I'm saying is, hey Russ, can we renegotiate this contract? We get you out of Denver. We got Calvin Ridley. We got Etienne. We got Christian Kirk.
Evan Ingram.
And we get you away from, and we get you the hell away from Sean Payton.
And we got a hell of a defense.
And we got a defense. Would you be interested in renegotiating and coming to Jacksonville, which is a lot warmer? And it's a lot closer to where your lady is from. It's right around the corner, honestly. Jacksonville to Atlanta is not very far at all.
I mean, yeah. If you're not the underlying question is for all of these scenarios is what do you do with Trevor Lawrence? If you could get a second round pick
that gives
from
Sean
Trevor
Payton
Lawrence,
a young guy like
you can't Russell Wilson. If you can't trade him, you'd have to wait for them to cut, sign Russell, and then trade Trevor Lawrence to the Broncos. Is how that would have to work. And
when I'm not trading him to the Broncos, then I'm not.
Well, you trade him for picks. If you get Russell and you sign Russell, you'd have to trade Trevor Lawrence for picks. That's what you would do. Which I think they already traded a lot of their picks for Russell Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, to Seattle.
Yeah, I'm trading to somebody who's pick heavy. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say this: I don't trust Trevor Lawrence as far as I can throw him. I think he's gas station sushi. He doesn't really do anything super impressive to me. He doesn't have he doesn't look like Joey Burrows. He doesn't look like Mahomes. Hell, he don't even look like Kyler or Justin Herbert. Now you drop it too far to me. You drop it into the realm of regulars.
We gonna see, man. We gonna see. And a little bit I'm executive decision. I'm ending the football segment. Shout out to Justin Fields. He basically said goodbye to Chicago.
Yep.
The Colts running back Tyler Goodson was so
This is tough to watch.
hurt. I don't really want to hear him talk about it. He's basically sad. He was about to cry in the in the locker room on 4th and 1. If the Colts had won this game because the Jaguars had lost, the Colts would have made the playoffs. He dropped the pass and went on 4th and 1, and he was hurt. And the Texans ended up winning the game, winning the division, and the Colts go home. And he basically takes the blame for it, even though Gardner Minshew threw it behind him, even though Gardner Minshew threw it behind him, even though he missed all of that stuff, even though it was a bad throw, he takes the blame for it because he said it touched my hands, which that's what you're taught from pee-wee on. If the ball touched your hands, you should try to catch it. You should catch it.
That's tough to watch.
But it's tough, man. It's tough for Tyler Goodson, man. So we want to send condolences to Tyler Goodson. And also for Coach of the Year, Shane Steichen, I understand you want to be Coach of the Year, but I don't know why you ain't had Jonathan Taylor in there. On 4th and 1 on 4th in the season, you don't have the best player on your team on the field. That's tough. That's tough. That takes a lot of explaining.
You're right. This is an unfortunate situation, but at the end of the day, I want to be clear. You guys weren't playing for a Super Bowl. So what you can do from this, and this is one thing that I do like about McDaniel, is he's like, hey, man, where this loss? Learn from it. Remember this feeling. And then let's not have it happen again. Same thing here. You're a young team. You had no business being in this game. You know, you lost your fourth pick, Anthony Richardson. You out there with Gardner Minshew, you've made him into basically the new Baker. He deserves a chance to at least be a QB1. And he's going to probably get that chance. So just learn from it, move forward, and be a better team next year for it. And that AFC South between C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, oh boy, we got a show. We got a show down there. Trevor Lawrence, you the odd man out while you playing.
And of course, a little bit of irony in that game. That is kind of since the Andrew Luck years, that has now been a budding rivalry, is the Colts and Texans. Last year, the Texans beat the Colts in Week 18, causing them to drop from number 1 to number 2, which they used to pick C.J. Stroud because the Panthers are dumb. And not because they picked Bryce Young, but the reason because they picked Bryce Young is
they were mad with Lovey for winning that game. They were like, oh, I can't believe you went out and won that game and dropped. Hey, I'm here to win football games.
And then they also traded back up and got Will Anderson Jr., who looks like to be the defensive rookie of the year. And then
they're going to get offensive player of the year. I mean, offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year.
Possibly coach of the year. And then this year, the Texans beat the Colts in Week 18 to clinch a playoff berth with the number 2 overall pick leading the way. That, I don't really think that's much irony for them, but it is irony because you used the same pick that you were relegated to beat them. But if C.J. Stroud was their man, they were going to get him at 1 anyway. So, the Texans, man, I am thoroughly impressed with what they've done. And I'm looking forward to it. With that being said, we are going to take 2 minutes. Then we're going to come back to basketball. We don't have a lot to talk about, but we're really going to talk about Spo, Ja, and the Warriors. That's it. And then we'll be right back and we'll round it all out. Y'all stay tuned. Episode 135 of the Splash Cast, burning that midnight oil. We'll be right back. Appreciate y'all.
Caught in your gaze, your mind is amazing. There's too much to say. My heart is ablaze, and all I see, all I know, is that you are the definition of love. I won't rest till I know for sure that you are the definition of love. I follow, I follow, follow, I follow. You give me faith that love can be instant. Break down these walls, remove all the distance, and all I see, all I know, is that you are the definition of love. I won't rest till I know for sure that you are the definition of love. Haven't seen your eyes, let me follow. 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 I don't rest till I know for sure. I don't rest till I know.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for our final segment of episode 135 of the Splash Cast, Monday Night Raw, doing it on a Tuesday. Our basketball segment, news around the league. Got three things we're talking about today. Three. One just came in. We talked about it during the pregame. Eric Spoelstra signs an extension with the Miami Heat, which looks like it will probably round out his career. I think he's kind of young.
Hell no. He gonna this 8 years. Watch and see. He gonna re-up. Next one.
He signed 8 years, $120 million plus, 120 million plus million contract extension, which means it's over 120 million. To be the coach of the Miami Heat. I like this because this is Heat culture.
There. You got your guy. You've identified your guy. He's your guy. You're not looking like, he's a part of the lexicon. And he's rocking with y'all. So, go ahead and pay him now. He's only going to get exponentially more expensive. Mm-hmm. And once y'all get rid of Kyle Lowry, y'all back on it because Jaime Jaquez is it. As soon as y'all can move that $40 million and get rid of Kyle Lowry, you back at it. You right back at it.
Yep. So, congrats to Spo. The Heat of the class organization, and they take care of their players and their coaches when they like you. So, congrats to him, man. All the way up from a videographer to 8 years, $120 million.
Yep.
On the other side, Ja will undergo season-ending surgery following a torn labrum in his shoulder. Ja just came back, and they immediately went 4-0 when he came back. And he looked like he was him, as he calls himself. I'm him, Himothy. Well, this is something that a lot of people were nervous about because we've seen Allen Iverson. Is somebody his size who is a high flyer who goes to the basket with reckless abandon getting hurt. Hindsight, they also won tonight without Ja over Dallas. beat them handily. But I do feel bad for Ja though.
I definitely feel bad for Ja, especially like as a guy who, you did whatever you did. That kind of part is what it is. But we believe in redemption stories. We believe in you getting another try. All of that, man. We like just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you have to be, you have to live in that mistake. But for me, this is an opportunity for Memphis to do a couple things here. Desmond Bane's getting paid a ton of money. You need to see how good he can be. I think he's upward of $35-40 million, if I remember correctly.
He balled out tonight. He ain't. Yeah, you right.
He ain't cheap, and I need the same way that if Jason Tatum is out, hey, I need to understand what you're capable of and how good you can be. We don't pack in the season just because 5 years, $207 million. Yeah, I need to figure out what I got in this dude, or, because this contract is an escalating contract. Now you assume that the asset will get better, but yeah, it's $34 million, $36 million, $39 million, $42 million at the end at 2028. He's a $44 million player. I need to identify he is a legitimate future-facing player for this team, or you need to move him before this contract escalates.
I think they're going to use the way the NBA salary cap is set up. You can have 2 or 3 stars, really 2.
Yes, but my concern with Desmond Bane is I don't think he's a good enough Robin, and I think that this is John Morant and Jaren Jackson's team, and I feel like people need shooting. You could move him he's getting paid $3 million this year. Next year, he's getting paid $34 million. You might be able to move him. If you're going to have a chance to move him, you're going to have to move him at $34 million. Every year, it's going to go up, and it's going to get more and more difficult to move him.
Yeah. You kind of put yourself in a win now situation because eventually you're going to have to break them 3 up. I think they already re-signed Jaren Jackson Jr. and I think they already re-signed Ja, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's their big 3.
It's a 3.
And then he's the shooter. He's a defensive player. He's a good Robin. I don't know if $207 million is what I would pay Robin, but
that's what Robins get paid these days.
That's what Boston about. Boston about to do the same thing. If you think Jason Tatum is about to take less money than Jaylen Brown, you are sadly mistaken.
Do you trade DeJounte Murray for Desmond Bane?
At $207 million? No.
He's 6'6", and he can shoot. And he's not ball dominant.
He'd make more than Trey. $207 million?
No. Trey's contract is no. He's not even available for because Trey was an all-star. He can't get Trey money.
5 years, $207 million is $40+ million a year.
Oh, well, Trey gets paid a little bit more. 5 years, $215 million. Desmond Bane, ooh, Lord. Desmond Bane to Trey Young. As much as I don't love Trey, I definitely don't want Desmond Bane at Trey money.
LeBron out here just thinking he 21.
He's struggling with this Raptors team now.
Well, the Raptors are good now.
Well, yeah.
But not to bury the lead. Shout out to Ja. I hope you get well soon. Keep your head on straight, bruh. Please do not go out there and do nothing dumb. You got a bright future. You know whose future isn't bright?
Oh, I disagree there.
This Warriors organization is.
Oh, the Warriors organization future might.
Yeah, no.
You're right. Might be the
Warriors are in. We thought that they would. The end normally comes at a terrible time, and it goes. You normally don't fall off a cliff. You normally break up something and you try. The Warriors, due to their own actions, have fallen off a cliff. Klay Thompson, body broke down for 3 years. He's still trying to get back. Draymond is insane. Steph is Steph, but I mean, he's getting older. You got Chris Paul, who's older. And then all of the young players.
Expiring now.
All of your young players that you try to build around either are there and unhappy or didn't work out. You got James Wiseman, who's gone. Jonathan Kuminga has said he's lost faith in Steve Kerr because in their last loss, he didn't play the last 18 minutes of the game. Your starting power forward didn't play the last 18 minutes of the game. I want y'all to remember that a quarter is 12 minutes. He didn't play the last quarter and a half of the game. And Steve Kerr was just like, I mean, I used to complain about my minutes too. And Jonathan Kuminga already felt like he was being held back by the Warriors organization because he kept getting sent to the G League, kind of like Jalen Johnson. And now it almost seems inevitable that they're going to have to punt on Jonathan Kuminga and or Moses Moody.
I wouldn't. I'm going to tell you what I would do. You got to do 3 very difficult things, and you just got to do them. Klay Thompson, $20 million or no. That's it. You're coming off the bench. You can be the 6th man. Maybe even $25 million. But that's it. Nothing more than that. Draymond Green, you out of there. You got to go. Now, the thing is, I'll do my absolute best to get you to a place where you can stay competitive.
Why? That's how you got in this crap in the first place. Trying to build and do favorites and sign. No, I'm trying to build the best.
I think that there's a way to do business because at the end of the day, like these guys, they're lifetime warriors. You're probably going to want at least, I mean, you should do good business. I think that there's a way. And let's be real. I think that Draymond wants to be a Laker.
I can see you saying that about Klay. I don't give a damn. Draymond, I've stuck by you, Draymond, through all of your antics. I don't owe you nothing.
I
paid you.
Willing to move. I was going to say you send him to the Wizards because they take a bad contract, but you can't send him over there with Jordan Poole. That would never work. But yeah, I might be interested in the Lakers. If you give me Rui and probably D'Angelo, you can have Draymond.
D'Angelo. So now you have Chris Paul, D'Angelo, Klay Thompson.
No, Chris Paul's
Steph
on an
Curry.
expiring contract. He's out of there. So we're going to
you talking about after the year. You talking about after the year.
Well, I mean, the season is what it is. But what I'm telling you is you got to understand, Steph Curry is still playing elite basketball. And I have to
He took Kuminga's side too.
You could probably keep him for about $20-25 million. So I'm keeping Kuminga. Wiggins, we're going to move you, big dog. You got a tradable contract. We can probably get some picks back for you and a decent player. So I'm moving Wiggins. I'm trading Draymond, and I'm giving Klay Thompson $25 million. Take it or leave it, bro. You can stay here in your career with Steph, or you can go. I ain't stopping you, but you got to be willing to make that tough decision, and that's what it is.
There's another option here too. There's no guarantee that Steve Kerr gonna be there forever.
You're right.
Steve Kerr could be out, and they could say we're not getting rid of nobody, and because I mean, like you said, you really don't want to punt on Kuminga because I mean he's played really well, but
He's
obviously whatever
that's the trap where flashes is. I mean, it's like
whatever
Desmond Ritter. Like you see it, but you know it ain't.
no,
you got to be. You like that's where your scouting and your coaching has to be able to look and say either he's the future or he ain't. Either
my point is, if you think that Kuminga is it, it's obviously that Kuminga and Moody aren't vibing with Steve Kerr. Because Moses Moody plays pretty well when he plays. He just don't play. It's kind of like AJ Griffin almost. He plays a little bit more than AJ Griffin. So at some point, especially if now I may be reading too much into this, but Steph Curry ain't never said nothing against Steve Kerr. Ever. That I've seen or heard. He's never said anything to challenge Steve Kerr's decision-making or nothing. Yeah. And for him to stand on Kuminga's side versus Steve Kerr, that tells me something.
Did you watch this part? Did you watch the way he said it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He said it in a way like he acknowledges you're a young player. You got some older players who want their minutes. He probably should have played a little bit more, is what he's saying. But but the way that he communicated it, it was like, I also understand at the end of the day, we the big dogs here. We built this thing. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Well, then trade me.
But
if that's what if that's it, and then trade me. I don't want to be there. Trade me.
I mean,
trade me for Pascal. At the end of
the day, the answer is to clear house. Wiggins ain't it no more. You can get value for him, and he's a very tradable contract. I didn't know he was on like $25 million. I mean, I would feel confident that the Hawks will probably trade Hunter
for Kuminga. Wiggins. I said that for a long time ago. I said, if you're gonna do it, trade Hunter for Kuminga.
No, for Wiggins, not for Kuminga.
I don't want Kuminga. I mean, I don't want Wiggins. Wiggins needs to go back to it. What I've seen with the Warriors is Pascal Siakam. That is the only name I've seen them linked to. If they're gonna make a trade, it would be Pascal Siakam, which would make Toronto, which would make Toronto just absolutely insane.
No,
to me,
you can't keep all of those people. He's like $35-40 million. You can't just throw Pascal on top. And Pascal is also going to want more money because he's 29 years old. So he's going to play 3 or 4 more years. He's going to want another $200 million.
No. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to clear house, there's a lot of teams that could use a Kuminga and a Wiggins, really, off the bench. AD.
I'm not giving you. I'm willing to part with Wiggins because I think he's running his course. Kuminga he's going to be such a good value. He's still only going to get $20-25 million. I'm keeping that. And I think that you have to. If you miss on everybody that you drafted, then you look stupid.
And
now I know they do have a new GM because what's his name? Bob Myers is gone, but
yeah, he's with the Commanders now.
Yeah, but people ain't gonna want to. They gonna forget that part real quick.
But what I'm saying is about if I'm the Warriors, I'm also mad at Adam Silver because I had a get out of jail free card. Draymond was talking about retiring allegedly. This could be COE, content over everything. We don't know. He does have a podcast, but I take Draymond for. I don't think he would be lying. So he said this was too much for me, and that he was going to talk about retiring, which would have then given them a chance to go get somebody or pay somebody. So
yeah, not this year. Even if you retire, like.
But what I'm saying is that still gets you out of. That gives you a get out of jail free card, and also Draymond, bro, that ain't showing no maturity to me. He said that this is getting too much to be too much. This is getting to be too much. All of your actions and antics are getting to be too much for you, so you are going to retire. So that's an immature take.
I'm a Draymond Green fan.
I am too.
And I'm gonna say this. I think that the Warriors situation is becoming too much. Clay said I had to have a sit down with Steve Kerr, and my negativity is bleeding into the team. So you've seen how dejected they look when they lose these games. Like I think that the entire situation and the pressure of like how do we make this work, I think that's what he meant by that. And honestly, it's a private conversation between him and Adam Silver. Like, bruh, I got suspended. I wilded out, sure. But it's a lot of things that are weighing heavily on me. The contemplation of retired, like, I don't know. I look at that a little different.
Yeah, you that's fine. You could say it's stressed and all of that stuff. You punched what's his name? And now you ain't let it get out, but you punched what's his name? You stomped on Sabonis's chest. You hit Nurkic in the face and tried to flail and act like that. Ain't no stress. That's you. That's not stress. That's not, him acting like he accidentally slapped Nurkic. Him acting like he tripped over. That's not stress about losing. You was in the playoffs. Y'all won that series. That ain't no stress about losing. That's you. That's who you are. That's accountability. You are doing that. And then when somebody finally calls you on it and they say, look, enough is enough, instead of wanting to do the right thing, which you eventually got talked into doing, your first initial reaction was to run away and not face what you did for your actions.
I think that they're all just, I mean, they've been like, it's like anything. Once you've been together for a really long time, I think that's a part of it too. They just probably need a break from each other.
Yeah, like the Pistons in the 80s. Well, I hear it, but that's talking about punching Jordan Poole. Fine, they've been around each other too long. Y'all don't like each other. All that other stuff is Draymond. That's Draymond. And I can see if you said it was stress now, but this ain't like it happened for the first time. This been happening for a half a decade. This ain't nothing new. He been suspended just as much or more than Rasheed Wallace.
I can't defend that.
So at that point, you know, if like I said, the words would have got a get out of jail free card, but at the same time, like Draymond, I'm happy that Adam Silver talked you into taking some accountability and actually allegedly doing the work. We'll see if you did the work. You was out 12 games, right? That's 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks. You was out 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we gonna see if you did the work, but somebody said, literally, they said, hey, Draymond, don't punch people. He said, that's too much to ask. I'm just going to retire. And the thing is, I also think Adam Silver, to wrap it up, I think Adam Silver talked him into it, because if Draymond retires, you can probably consider either Clay and or Steph not too far behind him. And Steph right now is too big of a star for them to let go. Steph needs an enforcer.
You gonna, and your job is to find him one. But like the other part about it is Steph is a second generation NBA player. They're like, hey, son, you good now. You're really good. You might still be, I mean, on any night he could be the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and LeBron, man, there is a case study for them too. Because LeBron out here right now trying to beat the Raptors by himself. And Steph Curry at any time can go nuclear. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the Splashcast episode 135, Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw on a Tuesday. Nord, if we didn't miss anything, take us out. Tori and Prince.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, you've enjoyed the Quiet Storm with myself, Norwood, and my boy Reg. We've had a fantastic night. We've covered football, basketball, baseball. Once again, adios to my boy Tigger. Job well done with Nike. We are moving out of college football. I would pour out a little beer, but I drank it. We have crowned a national champion. Shout out to Michigan. We are moving into NFL playoffs. We are getting closer and closer to NBA All-Star. Thank you guys for rocking with us. This has been fun. This has been fantastic. Number one. More and more and more Black baseball. Number 2, more Black cowboys and cowgirls. Number 3, and by far the most important, the historically Black college and university that you went to, your cousin went to, your auntie went to, your uncle went to, you know, the person you used to sit in the back of the church and laugh and kiki with. Send some money over to that school. the historically black college university did you go physically show up at? The one that you go to homecoming, step shows, just to be around your people or to see what the yard is doing. Send some money over there. And then finally, $18.68. That's what we're asking you to send to the greatest learning institution in all the world. Some say the greatest ultra premium private homecoming experience in the world. And homecoming dates is out. Homecoming dates is out. Homecoming dates are what? Homecoming dates are out.
That's why I
Book
love the
your
culture.
rooms,
We had a whole
Airbnb,
homecoming date leak.
HBO. Yes. And that's how committed people are to doing it. They leak it before we supposed to know it.
And bought the
But we
hotel
asking for
tickets and said, I'll cancel if that's wrong.
Yep. And that all 4 weekends. And so we asking for $18.68 for you to send over to Hampton University on behalf of the Splashcast. We love it. We love to do this. We love to support HBCUs and appreciate you doing that on our behalf. With that said, we are out of here. Adios, mi amigos. I had to put the soulful voice on because me and Reggie been riding through this. We had a fantastic night. Adios, mi amigos. God is love. Until we meet again.